Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. However you happen to be watching and or listening to this, I want to welcome you to another episode of the Gaming Circle podcast. The podcast where, as usual, the kneeless one is missing, but of course, he might make his interesting entrance. We shall see how he enters. And yes, for those who don't know, the kneeless one is Everborn Saga, the one who is going to be schlepping his way here because I own his knees now. But that's a conversation.
Wow.
If he that's a firing squad that he will choose to or not choose to come to. We shall see. But I am joined this morning by a person who I've wanted to have on this air for some time now. I'm a big fan of his network, of the conglomerate that he has created, the co-founder of XboxEra, and I always love to put it in, the Forge Master himself. Sega Mechanico joins us. John, welcome, sir. I appreciate you being here.
It is a pleasure to be here, and it's like a reasonable time. It's not the middle of the night. I'm not fast asleep.
Hey, look at that.
You know, it's good, and you pronounced my gamer tag correctly, so I am. I'm winning all around. It's really good to be here, man. And as always, you know, like, and this isn't the first. This is the first time we'll hang out today. You know, we're going to be hanging out later on as well. So
today, so ladies and gentlemen, those who are already here, we appreciate you being here. Understand that we have a two-part episode for you today. This is called the Gaming Circle Podcast Cross Xbox Era, because later today there'll be the Xbox Era Cross the Gaming Circle Podcast, as I will co-host on the Xbox Era podcast as well. So here we go. You're gonna have a
much prettier than the Australian fellow we normally have. So...
Hey, I will not take any of that because there's no debate in that one.
You can't have Nick's ego padded any further. We can't. Like it's too much. It's too much. No, but it's honestly, man, it's really good to be here. And you know, I know there's a lot going on, chit chat. There's a lot of whinging going out in the community at the moment. A little bit of whining. You know, we'll dig into it.
Yes. You know.
But yeah, it's just I love being on other people's shows because I don't have to like stress about the hosting part. You know, like it's stressful being the host. You know, you've got to make
sure. People don't know how stressful it is being.
Very stressful.
You're juggling plates in the background. You have no idea. You know, people don't know.
It's true.
But no, it is great having guests like you here. You know, professionals who know how this thing is done. So I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. And of course, the community is also here. We see folks pulling up already. Thank you so much. First and foremost, out the gate, Mr. Gerald Mack is here with a $5 super chat. And yes, we are here. We are to be respected. Support is all. Hashtag Graybeards. Thank you, sir.
Old Graybeard.
You know, that's right.
Just digging some Lord of the Rings references there.
I'm trying to get him to start a podcast called The Graybeards. That would be awesome. That'd be absolutely awesome.
50. Well, no, I'm not there yet. 40 plus. Gamers only.
There you go. Yeah, I think you and I are of the same ilk. 40 and change. You know.
Well, I'm approaching. I'm not quite. I look at it. It's really depressing, you know, to have to co-host a podcast with an egotistical Australian who does happen to be over 40 and yet look 10 years younger than me. Although, and not many people see this. Like I spoke to Nick the other week, first thing in the morning, and he just woken up. On his makeup. He hadn't put on his makeup. The lighting was a little different, and I was like, "Hang on a second here, bro. You're looking a bit haggard. You're looking a little bit like your age here." So I think it's all smoke and mirrors, personally.
We won't tell Nick this, but you know, those people who basically like they look like they don't age. When they go south, it happens overnight. So one day you wake up and it'll just be like gravity. It'll be amazing. That's when you'll see Nick all of a sudden no longer on the show. What happened to Nick? He just disappeared. You know, gravity.
Evaporated, like the witch in water, just
absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, of course we're gonna get into it. I'm sure Mr. Everborn Saga will join us momentarily, but of course we will start this show as we always do, with some games that we have been playing. Now, of course, I am boring this week. As you see footage on the screen, I am still playing Starfield. You know, the game that's not worthy of recommending to people and not getting any awards. Yeah, that game. I'm still playing it because it is now in my soul. Like I have to continue playing it. Now, what I won't do is show you current footage because I know there are a lot of people that are still kind of going through it, and there are spoilers all over my footage at this point. So I will only show you the beginning of my footage, but let us get to our honored guest, sir. I know it's been a tough week, work and all of that, but what games have been keeping you busy?
Oh, it's interesting. So we recently relaunched, revamped, thanks to Jesse's efforts. I've got to give him a shout out. Our day one Game Pass podcast. So we've launched another show to go alongside our main staple, and it's focusing on the subscription that everybody plays every week, right? And it's a neat premise, so that it's golden oldies, it's new titles on Game Pass, and it's an opportunity for us to pull in more people in the team to come and actually talk about their games and what they've been playing, as opposed to the usual suspects like me, Nick, Jesse, etc. Which is great, and I love doing it. So I've been playing a little bit, and this is a wholehearted recommendation for anyone that hasn't played this. This was actually my game of the year, I want to say 2021, I think that's when it came out, which is a lovely little indie game called The Lonely Mountains Downhill. Have you played this?
No. I'm the indie guy. The Lonely Mountains Downhill. Let me write that one down. Yeah. Excuse me.
So this is, I think it's still in Game Pass. It's a mountain bike game, right? Okay. So you play from a kind of isometric-y position, and you just have to get from the top of wherever mountain path trail that you're getting down as quick as possible. There's checkpoints. It's got instant restart because you will crash, and you can unlock different bikes. So they might have a really fast bike, you'll have a bike with really good suspension. There are shortcuts littered throughout it, and it is really responsive, it's really clean, it's really performant, and it is addictive. Like, you will swear, you will throw your pad, but then you'll start to get the hang of it. And when you do a flawless run and you get all the skidding and the dirt kicking up from your bike, it's just it feels really good to play. So if you haven't played The Lonely Mountains Downhill, I would 100% recommend it.
Excellent.
I think it's just one of those games where they've nailed every aspect: how it controls, how it feels, the look. It's nice and simple looking. It's not going to break the bank in terms of AAA graphics or anything like that, but it is a flawless little game. So if you haven't checked it out, add it to your list. It's good.
It's amazing how many cool little interesting nuggets, like Jusant is taking everyone's life these days. Cocoon took me by storm. So many cool little specialty little things that are out there that you wouldn't know would be existing, and that's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Bro. Jusant and Cocoon, two excellent ones to also mention. What wonderful games they are.
Yeah, absolutely.
I actually had the pleasure of interviewing the devs for Cocoon. But I had some issues with some transcribing software because it was an audio interview that I recorded, and I had to transcribe it, and it all broke and everything went a bit wrong for me. So I will be releasing it, but we're going to kind of make it part of our kind of Game of the Year coverage. Okay. But excellent. 6.5 years they took to develop Cocoon. It's mental. But
it shows, right? That the animation on the screen, it's just, you can tell they took so much time worrying about every little teeny tiny piece, it's so good. It's so good. And of course, it's from the guys who made, Inside and all of that. So the pedigree is there. That it's
100%.
The thing that surprises me about this year is how many indie development teams should get the Death's Door flowers, but it just seems like it's a crush of so many games that you might discover it in 2024 one day when you go, why didn't this get so much credit before? You know what I mean? It's too many of them in 1 year,
There are a lot, and I think, we're also seeing a lot of conversation around, what is an indie?
Yeah.
Which is an interesting one, right? I think it's a pretty easy definition, but apparently not. Apparently that's a really hard one to come up with.
So would you consider Larian Studios an indie?
They're an independent developer, yeah. But would I say that Baldur's Gate 3 is an indie game? No, I wouldn't. I would say it's a AAA production from an independent developer. Yeah. So I think we need to redefine what indie game means,
True. Yes, which means, and in that respect, you could say that the makers of Hi-Fi Rush aren't an independent studio, but that was an independent development from them.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. You're starting to go down
it gets very
rabbit
gray,
hole.
It gets a little gray. Yes, I know.
I think it's just
tough.
I think that the whole tendency to just anything realistic with top tier graphics is a triple A, and anything with cutesy simple graphics is an indie.
Is not. Yeah,
is a
slippery slope.
disparaging way to look at it, because
Yep.
I would say that Hi-Fi Rush is a triple A game. It's not the art style that most realistic driven triple A games are made with now, right? But I still
would
think
agree with
in
you,
terms of production
100%.
value,
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
it's a tricky one.
Mario Wonder, AAA game, even though it may not like present as such, but the people who put money in it put AAA money in it to come out with that game, you know? So it is a very
100%.
interesting way to, when they use those technical parlances and they turn it into marketing, it kind of starts slipping. You know? Yeah. No, I hear you. Absolutely. So any other games that have been on your radar that you want to tell the people about?
Yes, very simply, Bluey the video game released yesterday. All right, now it would be criminal of me and criminal as a parent to not purchase a copy, because yes, we contacted the publisher to see if they would willingly help XboxEra out with a copy. We never heard back from them, and I haven't seen any reviews generally anywhere, so I just don't think the publisher did any of that. But I've been playing it today. I am working on the review. I've obviously got to consult with one very important person before I publish it to get their thoughts, which is my son. So I think, because he's been asking me, Dad, you know, they're at school, Dad's a YouTuber, and all their mates are like, what? I'm like, I'm not a YouTuber. Don't tar me with that.
Don't do that. No.
Don't do that, Sonny Jim. But you know, he's been for a long time like, Dad, can I be in a video? You know, will I inherit XboxEra when I grow up? All of this sort of funny stuff that kids think about.
There you go.
He's got his business hat on.
That's right.
But yeah, like I've got to get him to come and play it and see what he thinks. But I've been playing through. I played a couple of hours today. I mean, if you've seen Bluey, the biggest question you're going to ask yourself about this IP cash in is it good? Does it capture the spirit of what Bluey is?
Actually, the biggest question the question I was going to ask is, does this game make me feel like an inadequate parent like the show does?
Oh yeah, 100%.
There you go. Please.
But it'll also give you like things to aspire to. But it captures the heart of what Bluey is and how Bluey works so well. Okay. I'm impressed so far. Like, don't get me wrong, guys. This is an evolution of the Peppa Pig formula, right? Where it's simple to play. It is not for my age group. It is for my 6-year-old. You know, but I'm approaching it from that perspective, the perspective of a parent, and I think. And Microsoft need to wake up here. If they want to win the console war, they need to start selling that Series X and Series S Bluey bundles and just go all in, and you will make bank this Christmas. Don't give one console away as a sweepstake.
I'm like,
what's wrong with you?
Wrap? Where is the wrap?
Sell the wrap or sell a Series S limited edition with a bingo pad, and you will make bank.
And by the way, how about you make a small version of your controllers for the smaller hands? This is the umpteenth time I've said this.
100%, bro. But when I first introduced my son to gaming, he was maybe 5. And I actually went out, and if I had it, I would dig it out and show it on screen. I actually went out and bought a wired pad, and it was bright, luminous green, and it was, I would say, maybe 2/3 or 3/4 the size of the standard one, and it was perfect for him. And that was his first introduction. And the first game I trained him on was another little indie game, underwater game called Abzu, which I think was on Games of Gold. Oh, that's even cuter. Is that an 8-bit though?
Yes, sir. This is what I trained my daughter on. She is now 7.
Nice.
And she is a Mario Kart master, ladies and gentlemen. A Mario Kart master. My son is a platforming master, and he's 4.5. Yes, Microsoft, get on the stick. Tiny controllers, ladies and gentlemen. FTW. Please.
That's what we need.
Sir.
You're absolutely right, and it's the controller is the biggest barrier to access for kids. Like I've been training an adult in gaming, and by adult, my partner, she's not a gamer, right? But she saw me playing Cocoon, and she was like, "This looks wicked," and she's actually very close. I think she's completed it now. And then she was like, what can I play next? So I've been slowly kind of doing like, okay, try this. And she's tried a little bit of Limbo, and she's, but it's getting her to get to grips with, because you all remember, I remember very fervently walking into Electronics Boutique back in the day.
Oh, I used to work there. Huh.
Right. And picking up
Games.
my first pad and understanding, well, hang on, this is move and this is look, and having to separate my brain and do that element is the barrier. That's the bit that's hard to get over. And the minute you nail that and nail moving in a 3D space, you've made it. You can play anything. But it's getting people to train to that part. So Microsoft need to catch on quick and start introducing smaller ones so that we can get our kids understanding this sooner in life.
Absolutely. No, you are hitting it right on the head. There's a reason why Nintendo owns my household and the household of most people with children. It's not the games, because yes, Mario's amazing. Yes, it's all amazing. But my son, the game that he conquered first, it is now still his game of all games. Piku Niku. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah, my son's played Piku Niku.
Oh,
super adorable.
My son conquered that game. 60, 70, 80 hours in, the kid is still playing Piku Niku, right? But it started with this, because it's a small controller. His hands, the Xbox controller was too much. So we had to go to Switch, right? And that's what eventually got him in and all that. Xbox, you're training you're planning for the future. Get them young. Get them controllers small.
Gotta hook them.
Know what I mean?
Come on, Microsoft. It's like cigarettes. You got to get them in.
Wow.
Get them in young. Have I gone too far?
You know what it is. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, look at all the vaping. Look at all the vaping technology now. Hooking those youngsters young with trendy, flashy technology. You've got the same approach with controllers. It works.
That's
easy.
Right. Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me take a quick pause while we're having this conversation and say thank you all so much for being here. As usual, I will do my YouTube host thing. Please hit the like button if you haven't done so. Please, consider subscribing if you're new. We appreciate Sick and Mechanical for being here, and of course for being here early, because it's good to be here on time. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen,
is he here?
Mr. Everborn Saga.
I was going to say, what do you do when he doesn't turn up, and you start and you haven't got guests? Do you just sit here like, hey guys?
I just gotta ridicule him. You know what I mean? That's what I do.
All right. Listen, he can always fall back to Sonic slander. So
okay.
When in doubt, just
see. And I wasn't even gonna go there, but because you bring it up, I don't see any icon of choice, sir. What's going on? I thought Saturday
I
was
said
the day.
I was gonna do that on Twitter, but you know what? Let me see what I can do.
So John, just so you know, we had this friendly wager going. It's one of those things where, and it's myself, Mr. Everborn Saga, and great member of the community, John Wolf. We see you in the chat, good sir. Good morning. And they were under the impression that Sonic Superstars would, for the first month sales, would crush the juggernaut that is Elephant Tusk Mario.
Okay, I want to be. I
thought they were smoking something. I have no idea where they thought that they were even going to get close to that. Before he uses it against me, I went a little bit overzealous, and I thought maybe Elephant Tusk could conquer the spider as well. He did not. I will take that. I get that. But against Sonic Superstars, it was a no-brainer, I must say. I'm sorry. And he has lost. First, he thought he was going to lose when the Japan numbers came out. Oh, that's just Japan. And now it's just undeniable.
Oh, dear.
So, sir, are you a Lannister, or must we continue this debate?
I am a Lannister. I drink and I know things.
Wow.
So yes. So that's where we are right now. Go ahead.
The point is, it was never about winning. It was always about somebody's got to hold the line for Sonic. So I'll take it.
So somebody needed to be the sacrificial lamb who would be put into the firing squad and shot horribly, like Murphy and RoboCop. That's what you're doing right now. You just chose to take it. Understood. Pause. All right. Well, appreciate you being here, sir. This is gonna be one of them shows. Here. Yes.
I'm all for it. That's great.
So thank you for being here, and you're right on time, sir. Let me ask you, what games have you been playing this week, Mr. Everborn Saga?
Diablo 4, the campaign, and I'm loving it. And I see why it got a 91 on Xbox and an 89 and 88 overall open critic average. It's a fantastic campaign. And I remember why when it came out, everybody was talking about it for like potential Game of the Year nominee or whatever. But I don't know what's going on or what happened with that season 1 that seemed to sour everybody on it.
Yeah, suddenly the game was trash after.
Yeah, well,
this game was brilliant. Now it's terrible.
It was brilliant when they thought the deal was blocked, and then as soon as they knew the deal was going through. I'm not saying correlation is causation, but all of a sudden it's not even like they were saying this thing.
John, just so you know, on this show we wear tinfoil hats. We call them koofies. So these are the tinfoil koofies you are going to get on our show here.
I mean, listen. Everybody was looking forward to it. Hail, Mother Lilith. Canada even burned down their
yellow
forest
sky and all that.
Have the red sky just for the launch. Like it was a whole concerted effort. It was gonna sweep Game
Did you just say Canada burned trees just for the marketing rights?
Don't sleep on Activision marketing. So
we are embracing that conspiracy level. Canada are burning forests for marketing.
All I'm saying is everybody was all about Diablo 4. Massive success, and the scores prove this is not me making it up. It's a 91. Go look at it right now.
Yeah, true.
Right.
True.
So 90 meta game, and then all of a sudden Microsoft beats the FTC, and it looks like the deal's done, and then everybody sours on the game.
See,
so
some people call it the tax. I call it the Stankonia. It's the Stankonia. It's the Xbox Stankonia. It smells up the joint, and all of a sudden you got to move on.
I'm only like I'm like 80% joking.
I know.
20%.
I know.
I've been these X streets, so you see it. But
he lays
like,
with the dogs
really,
and catches the fleas.
It seems like the season 1 turned people on it because they did weird things with progression and stuff like that. But the campaign is A1 premium. If you have not played it, go play it. I can't speak to the season stuff because I have no interest in it, but I will be playing that expansion when it comes out next year.
Yeah, I think it's one of those games that I would. I'm waiting to play. I played a little bit, but I will wait to play with friends when it comes to Game Pass. You know, like it's a co-op game through and through, so I'll play with some buddies and have a good laugh at the same time. Yeah. That's the plan.
So Mr. Everborn Saga, question. So you dropped Alan Wake 2? Are you like, is there ever a plan to go back at any point?
I
or you're
dropped
just like, nope,
Alan Wake 2 like a bad habit. So let me tell you what happened to me, right? I was suffering from some burnout, right? There was so many really good games that came out in this short period of time. And I took my time with Starfield. I was on that for like 6 weeks straight. I have well over 100 hours in that game. And then I had a little palate cleanser, Sonic Superstars. But then one after the other, it was like Spider-Man, Mario, Alan Wake, COD, right? And so I'm playing each of those games, and they're all good. I can't speak too much for COD, but no. I'm just saying, like, I played Modern Warfare 2. I played Modern Warfare 2. That's the one because 3 is a continuation. So I wanted to play 2. I bought that. I'm not gonna go on that rant again. That menu is it should
dreadful.
Be a war crime.
Yes, it's dreadful. Absolutely. Yes.
People should go to jail for it. But
he's talking about the menu system for most, like, you know, for free to play games that have
no. This is worse than those.
It's like bad. I've played Modern Warfare 3. I played the first like 2 levels, and I was like, what is this? like I get where the bad scores are coming from, but then often I've played a lot of Modern Warfare, and I'm like, this is just over the top nonsense. Like, I don't mind, don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed 1 and 2. But this one, as soon as you get that like kind of like really fancy cutscene, and then you're like, oh, this is kind of like a Warzone level with some objectives. I was like, okay, this feels cheap. Like, and it does, and that's only because COD has often pushed the Michael Bay experience to the limit, right? Like in terms of production value, and this just lost all of its set piece and heart. And I'm just like, oh no, yeah.
So
Tom Henderson was right.
So
it's a DLC.
The thing is, I had jumped to Spider-Man. I played that for a little bit, played the opening scene, and then I tried Mario because I was on a flight, and I played that for like 3 hours there, and then on the return flight I played it again, and it was nothing short of fantastic. But I'm playing that and I'm thinking about Spider-Man, and I go to Spider-Man and I'm thinking about Mario, and then Alan Wake comes out and they're like, that's game of the year, and I hate that Mind Palace thing. You know,
yeah. There's too much to play at the minute. It's very infuriating.
But the point, I see Paris in there trolling already. I was beginning to not really enjoy or experience the game. Yeah. I was just rushing through them so I could complete one and go to the other. And it made me feel like it was homework, and I resented the games, and I just didn't want to play anything. It's like that Netflix feeling where you sit down to go watch something, and then you watch like 35 trailers, then you end up either falling asleep or having sex and then falling asleep. That's where Netflix and chill came from. But
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
It's true. We're adults. You know, search your feelings. You know what I say is true. Now,
now, children, you know where Netflix and chill comes from. Continue, ladies and gentlemen.
Right. Okay. So, the point is, I went back to Diablo, and Diablo cured me of all of that, and it's because it's the right amount.
Cured you of Netflix and chill? I think that's a bad idea.
No, not that. Take it easy. By the way, I watched Blue Eye Samurai. Fantastic.
Oh, I've got it on my list. I haven't watched it yet.
Told you. See, yeah.
It's
good.
Scott
it's really good.
Next, but I'm getting sidetracked. Diablo 4 and that campaign. There's something so satisfying about a game that you literally can just pick up, play for 15 minutes or 4 hours, and it's like, it's none of that get back into it. I got a barbarian, so I'm doing all melee stuff. I'm pressing A, I'm building up my fury, I'm doing my spin attack, and it works. The sound effects, the story, it's all there. The re-onboarding is just chef's kiss in that game.
Well, because it's not really an onboarding. Right, it's just press the button, kill the things, move on.
Yes, but that's what I need right now instead of all of this like preamble and stuff. I also played Like a Dragon yesterday on xCloud.
Okay.
Very smooth. I didn't get any lag.
It's good.
I mean, I was like 36 inches from the router, but still. No lag whatsoever.
Well, you know what? You bring this up, and we have John here, so this is a good question to ask. So myself and Everborn have been going back and forth and talking, and by and large, I agree that with Game Pass being the huge library it's becoming, and there's so many different games to try and all that, they may need to look at potentially finding an interesting solution for re-onboarding you to a game you stopped playing for a while. What do you think of that?
I think that's an age-old problem that I think has been prevalent in games for years. Like I have very fun, like Starfield is a big one for me. I have got a huge chunk of the way through, right? And I'm like, and then the release schedule happened, and I'm like, games of the year is just falling on us. And
inundated.
I'm like,
Yes.
And I've played, and this is the really frustrating thing. I've played a little bit of everything, and then we got given some codes thanks to our friends at EA and some other publishers for games that I had missed out on earlier in the year, like Jedi Survivor and Modern Warfare 3, and I'm like, I'll install that, and then I'll install that, and like you'll play like a level or two. And I've thought a lot about Starfield recently because like I played it primarily on PC because the experience was vastly better.
Yeah.
And even with an Nvidia rig, my 4090 was just like 120 FPS. Just here you go, ultra wide, it looks beautiful. But yeah, like I went through that exact problem. I think I can't remember. I think I posted it in our public Discord. I was like, help me, I'm in a weird gaming funk. I have this absolute smorgasbord of incredible video games to play, and I'm like, what do I do? Like, which one do I do? Do I go back and finish Starfield and get the campaign done? Do I carry on Alan Wake 2? And and it was just, I was stuck. And now I'm reviewing Bluey, so like that's me sorted for like at least 2 days.
That's right.
But I'll be back there. I'll be back there experiencing that. I don't know if there's a solution to the onboarding problem, because there is nothing worse. I think the biggest example of it I had was the last new Tomb Raider. Was it Rise? Was Shadow?
Yeah.
Shadow.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider, yeah.
Shadow.
Yeah.
I'd got a certain way through to where it turned into this weird open world village in Incan land, and I was like, oh my god.
Yes, I remember that scene. Yes.
I turn off from games when they give me a huge open world map with 1,000 icons. I'm like, like I shrivel and I die, and that's what happens. And I remember that, and I was like, no. And I walked away, and then I came back to it for 6 months later. I was like, okay, I just need to like remember all the controls, remember where I was in the story. I'd love it if they just introduced a simple last time on, and it just gave you like a little brief story so far. Like even if it was just text, like he's played up to here.
Yep.
This is what you've done, and then when you load up, it just says, "Here's the tooltips again."
Yep.
Didn't they try that in Witcher 3 slightly?
They did. They do. Some games themselves kind of do that a little bit. Like you can always do the last time. The Witcher specifically did it best, where while the game is loading, the person, the narrator basically tells the story up to where you are. You're searching for Yennefer and blah 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 blah, and now we found him. And as soon as the trailer, as soon as the loading screen ends, you know where you are in the story. Now, where they miss on that is, okay, now here's the gobbledygook of controls. Good luck remembering those, But at least it's one side of the side of fixed. I wish there was some kind of almost just like how PlayStation has attempted to do that with helping you in games, right?
Hey,
go ahead.
Not to cut you off,
Please.
I would like you to check the DM, the inner circle.
Okay, I will check the DM. I will do that right now. Oh God. Oh, there he goes.
Consider my debt paid. You have 1 week.
His name, ladies and gentlemen, is I lost a bet, so I have to lie and say Sonic sucks. That's his name. No, that was not the bet. That was not the bet.
I said Sonic sucks. Sonic sucks is in the thing. That's it.
Stop it. Oh my God.
That's what you get.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is
paid.
Everborn hedging of bets saga. Good luck. All right. We'll let that one. We will let this one slide, because clearly he's gonna fight the good fight on us. He's not gonna admit it. At least.
Throw it on the screen to the people.
You've been called out, man.
So there is Mr. Everborn. I lost the bet, so I have to lie and say Sonic sucks.
Wow.
Like, come on. This is not what we were looking for, ladies and gentlemen, but okay.
Get what you get.
And you don't get upset. Yes, I understand. I've been teaching my children that for a few months now. I understand. Okay.
Wise words.
I will let that one slide, Everborn. I'll let that one slide. I'm sure that the community will tear you to pieces, and I will enjoy watching that for the week to come. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Continue.
I made the bet.
Yes, you did. Yes, you
did.
did.
Debt is a debt, and a Lannister always pays his
yes,
a bet is a bet, and a Lannister always pays his debt.
And of course, as you can see, J-Rock is in here already putting you to task, telling you that doesn't count. But okay.
It does. It counts. Mm-hmm. That's what you get. God
sure. Damn it. Okay. Well, we're moving on, because I'm sure this one they'll come for him later. It's okay. It's all right. I'll enjoy watching them come for him. It's okay. But yes. So let's get back to it. So what I was gonna say real quick before we move on is, I think that we need to give PlayStation some props on that front. From an OS perspective, if you're trying to like get your trophies and whatnot, they have from OS level help. Hey, you're halfway into this, you need a bit more. You're halfway into that, and they give you hints and tips on how to get the trophy you're trying to get at an OS level, right? So it's not like the game is deciding to tell you hints and tips and tricks. The console's operating system is keeping an eye on your progression of achievements, trophies, and giving you pointers in that way. I wish that mentality was applied to, oh, this is the last 20 minutes of the last game you played, repeat. And oh, by the way, these are the controls you need to know at an OS level. That'd be really cool, you know?
Is that feature still in use though? Like on PlayStation? Because I remember them really talking hard about how cool it was at launch.
And it is. It just seems like some of the developers use that more than others do. So if you're like in the first party space, you know, like Spider-Man, you see really cool helps and hints and all of this. Others just kind of don't really pay attention to it. So it becomes a bit of a hodgepodge. But yeah, I think to solve the problem that we're talking about here with Game Pass and so many games, and I tried this, and now how do I play Starfield again? I think something like that would be useful. You know, something like, hey, here's where the story is. Oh, and oh, by the way, these are the controls you were using last time you were playing. You know, it'd be kind of cool.
No lies detected, man. It's an age-old problem that needs a solution for sure.
So, Mr. Sonic Sucks, any other games you wish to regale us with before we continue? And let me get out of my DMs.
No, that's it. Just Diablo. I just finished Act 1. I'm into Act 2, and I was doing some cloud gaming. Do we get to talk about the Steam Deck OLED?
We will talk about the Steam Deck OLED. Sure, of course. I know you are happy to pick one up. So let's transition to some of the news we're talking about. Oh, you picked up 2. Look at you.
No. I'm gonna cancel one. I actually.
I thought you were gonna get me something for Christmas, man.
Oh,
jeez.
Well, hey.
Whoa.
One of them is gonna be canceled, and I wanted to talk about it on the show to see which one I should cancel.
See,
I got Mr.
Everborn Saga tried to sabotage my Christmas gift, but that's a whole different conversation. He called.
No.
He messaged my wife and tried to sabotage my Christmas gift. But that's a whole different conversation, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
Yes, this is what he did.
Wait a minute. So, Lady Asante messages me every year and says, "Hey, what should I get Kay for Christmas?" You know, because he and I talk all the time, and then I can make suggestions. And a lot of the times in cohorts, I will go to him and be like, "Hey, what do you want?" And then I'll tell her. So
I'm here for you.
This year, I'm like, let me be proactive. I'm like, Kay Asante, because I have a bet that Kay Asante, because he just buys everything. He even wanted that garbage PlayStation Portal. But
he says to me after telling us he's bought 2 Steam Deck 1.5.
Sure,
continue.
That's not what we're talking about. I'm gonna cancel one of them.
Everborn Frivolous Purchase Saga. Continue, sir.
Okay, but I take the initiative and I say, just to stack the deck in case Kay Asante finally has some self-control this year, and I want to win this bet, I say, hey, Lady Asante, I have a gift idea for you. Kay Asante says he doesn't want the Steam Deck OLED, but nobody believes him. So if you were looking for a gift, this is what you want to get him.
Oh,
you see,
she was kind of on to me. She was like, well, how is it different from the one he already has? And I'm like, you've taught her well. You've taught her to ask the right question.
I'm in the office. My wife comes to me and goes, "Is Everborn being shady here?" I'm like, "That son of a," and then he sends me the video.
Wow.
Yes, he tried to sabotage my Kit Christmas gift, which by the way, Apple Vision Pro. Just saying, Apple Vision Pro.
See, I tried to save you some money. That you have a Quest.
Shut your mouth, sir. Shut your mouth.
No reason.
You have no right. You have no right to sabotage my situation.
I'm just trying to help you out. You know you want it. And listen, I'm trying to make sure you continue to get the Gabe Knoll.
Sure. Yeah, he says the Gabe Knoll. All right. Well, we'll talk about the Steam Deck, but first. Before we do, you see what happens here? This man is sabotaging my situation. You see? Yes. Anyway,
I understand.
Let us talk briefly about GeForce Now, because for audiences of this show who tend to be console players and PC players as well, you know, GeForce Now came out with a very interesting deal. They announced it yesterday. Pretty cool. I thought it was worth a conversation. They are bundling together 6 months of Ultimate GeForce Now and 3 months of Game Pass. One bundle. You get it, you get both. And then that means out of nowhere, overnight, your cloud gaming becomes better on GeForce Now, if we're talking Starfield, than even Game Pass itself, because their version is the PC version and the Game Pass version is the console. So it's the difference between 60 and up to 120 frames per second difference.
Yeah, I can't lie. Like, I've played Starfield a lot on console, but the PC version is the way to go. Like, I think it's a beautiful game on PC. Like, it's nice on Xbox. I think the texture works brilliant, but the performance on PC, delicious.
Absolutely. So with this, go ahead, everyone.
I want to have a broader discussion about this, but I'll let you finish your setup, because I want to have a discussion about, well, two things. One, should Microsoft as a company transition the xCloud experience to be PC based
instead of console?
Question one.
Yeah, that's an interesting concept. Okay, question one.
Question two is, if they do that, we know they were saying they were kind of scaling back their cloud offerings during the FTC case. But to be fair, and I keep telling people this, don't listen to anything anyone says when $70 billion is on the line.
Yep.
So don't listen to Sony. Don't listen to Microsoft. It behooved them to say they were scaling back cloud. It behooved them to not release cloud features. It behooved them to and for those who castrate themselves in public.
For those who say there's no evidence of that, did you read all the transcripts, including the ones at, let's say, a Starbucks? Continue.
Right. So the thing is, if they were in fact not if they were in fact being genuine, then should they move cloud to PC and have it as a feature of maybe Ultimate or PC Ultimate, and that's how you get your cloud fix, and it's handled by NVIDIA.
So you're telling me they would.
But again, I want to have a broader conversation. You go finish your thing. We'll come to that when I'm just
it's an interesting thought. But no, I appreciate you setting me up, because with this idea, I was like, hey. So for those who aren't aware, GeForce Now was a thing. If you had an NVIDIA Shield, the little set-top box from way back in the day, that is basically their version of a Switch, came out 8 years ago. They also started brewing the GeForce Now fires at that time. So for many years, about almost 6 years, if you had a Shield, you had access to GeForce Now for free. They recently turned it into an offering and then separated that, and you had to buy it. So I had access to GeForce Now for a long time. You know, we used it sometimes, use it as I saw fit. And then recently, when they made an offering, I was like, I don't need it. But with all this conversation, and of course with them announcing this deal, I was like, okay, I'll give it another shot. So I purchased it, the service, and it is now running on the Logitech G Cloud. You've seen, if you follow me on Twitter, you've seen some light footage of it playing things like what do you call it, Alan Wake 2. Full ray tracing, all bells and whistles on this unassuming, can last you for almost 8 hours device. So it's kind of cool. Although I will say, single point of failure being your Wi-Fi. Obviously, if you have bad internet connection, you are susceptible to whatever you're susceptible with. I will say though, before we start this conversation broadly, pro tip or cautionary tale for those who do have a subscription that if you're like me and you are like paid up for Game Pass up until like 2027, this deal won't work for you. You'll get the NVIDIA side. Only? No, not new customers, but the GeForce, the Game Pass limit, which is 2027, it still exists. So if you're already paid up to 2027, you can't use that code for 3 extra months. Right? You have to wait until you have those 3 months available to then add the code. But then that made me go, you know what? That's interesting. So here I am with a GeForce subscription. I'm looking forward to testing it out and all that. We'll talk more about it. But I find myself in possession of a 3-month code to Game Pass. So you know what that means, ladies and gentlemen. I will be putting the first of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 octets into the chat. And by the end of the show, someone will have 3 months free Game Pass. First, I'm putting it in the chat now. So, and I will announce it every time I put one in the chat. The first one, M2T7Z. Oh, I'm sorry, I spelled that wrong because somebody was came up here. M2T7Y. Forgive me. M2T7Y. That's the first of the octet. There are 2, 3, 4, 5 in total. So write that down again. M2T7Y. But yes, Mr. Everborn Saga, I signed up to the service. I've been playing
Before
it.
you continue,
it's super interesting. What are your thoughts?
Before you continue,
Yes.
I don't know anything about it because I didn't sign up. But
Okay.
I had a day yesterday. I'd love to talk about in our text
Please.
section.
Yeah. Go ahead.
But no.
Oh, okay.
We will talk about that after.
We'll talk about it. All right.
Tell everyone
all right,
about this.
all right.
What I'm saying is,
Mhm.
for the audience,
Mhm.
every time an octet is mentioned, we're not just gonna secretly throw it in the chat. We're gonna tell you when. You just need to be paying attention and watching for when.
Please, yes. So finally, once again, M2T7Y. But yes, I'll check it out. If you want more talk about how I feel about it, what the process is, and how this thing works.
Tell me about it. Sell me on this thing that I'm already paying for a cloud.
Sure.
Gaming subscription.
It's a good backup. It's a good backup so far. I don't think it's your mainstay. It's a really cool, interesting thing. If you're in a position where Wi-Fi is no problem, it looks great. The fact that this really light thing can run the beast of beast games at the highest fidelity is very, very interesting. But it is susceptible to a lot of the PC issues that PC issues tend to have. Yes, we always laugh about, PCMR stuff. The issues you tend to have on PC, you might have here as well. Meaning, you boot up a game, sometimes it crashes in their cloud service, then you gotta get out and then get back in again. For another quick side note, for some odd reason, and this is to the community, by the way, if you guys have experienced this or you know how to do it, please talk to me about it. Let's solve it. I have a message out to NVIDIA right now. For some reason, the B button is not registered within the G Cloud app, within the GeForce Now app. Only the B button. So any game you play, you hit B, not registering. And I verified upon multiple ways. This thing works perfectly everywhere else. Every button works on G4 on what do you call it? Xbox's cloud service. It works. Native games, it works. There are literally apps that you can download that test every button independently to make sure they're functioning. Perfect function. If you load it inside GeForce Now, B button no worky. If you get Steam to load up inside GeForce Now, B button doesn't register. It doesn't exist. All the buttons register. B does not register. Weirdest thing. I've sent a message to NVIDIA. We shall see. But these are the things. If you want to just, I turned it on and I play, as good as this is, because yes, it is good, right? The one thing you might, I know people compare the GeForce Now versus the Game Pass. Game Pass being so console-like, these are issues that you may not experience, right? Whereas this one is really good, but some of the weird PC crufts kind of is a little bit pervasive. Go ahead, John. What were you gonna say?
Well, I know that the conversation, I think everyone was like, hey, question one, should they maneuver away from the Xbox architecture they had for xCloud? And I think, the fundamental reason isn't one for performance, it's one for dev uptake, right? The convenience of, as a console player, avoiding those litany of PC problems, right? You also got the simple fact that for developers, there is no additional work. It's far cheaper to create the blades with the Xbox hardware on, which they obviously spent a long time doing when Xbox Series X and X launched, because there was less stock out there of Xbox Series X because they were focusing on getting their data centers up to speed. And the minute you lose that, you lose the ability for any developer. You think about how they approach people for Game Pass deals, because you'll see the predominant number of Game Pass deals now are always console, cloud, and PC, right? We're going to do it on all three. And if you have to say to a developer, Oh yeah, but we're going to do the PC version in cloud. Well, they've got to redo all of the investment that they've done. They've got to have PC components sitting in the cloud. That's far more expensive. Do I see a future where they might partner with NVIDIA GeForce now and kind of like have those elements? Yeah, maybe. But you're also going to have far less choice, because not every game is going to have a super duper PC version. You know, not every game releases on PC. I know a lot of them do, but I think they've already laid their chips. And I think the recent talk, and I know it's partially talk, you know, how we've built a golden toilet with xCloud. it is a convenience. It is an add-on. It is not for any gamer, capital G gamer. It's not the predominant way to play. Like, I love it to nip into something. I love it to do something on the side, like, you know, doing a bit of Forge in my kitchen. Or like around someone else's house using my Razer Kishi. Fine. But for my actual gaming where I'm putting on the headset and I am gaming, I'm never going to be playing on cloud, ever. Like holidays, traveling, that's it. So, I don't see them doing it. Like, I think the dev uptake and participation of them having to create one version, it's certified for Xbox, and it will run on xCloud, and that's it. That's going to stick around for a while. I don't see that changing anytime soon.
I can't argue the point. Everborn Saga, what are your thoughts there?
Well, here's the thing.
Go ahead. Yes.
Well, actually.
Actually.
So, one thing I will say, I think that the console approach, while it does solve some very interesting problems around entitlements, I will give you that.
Yeah,
because once we get to, you know, what games are on PC versus what are on console and what has cross-play and how you're going to license those, and will your purchases go across, will they have cross saves, all those things become that much more difficult if we're saying your cloud option is running from the PC. If you want people to adopt the cloud, the whole point is that it's seamless and easy. That's what drives adoption. I get that. However, while xCloud has the best content of any cloud provider, bar none, it's a joke at this point, right? Not even worth discussing, right? They've got the best content. They also have the worst tech.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
And I believe that is because they are held back by ultimately what are designed to be home consoles, just jerry-rigged into these server racks. And so, and I know we can say that they accounted for this when they were designing the Series X, but it's still Stadia had better latency and better image reconstruction.
Sure, but
than
Stadia also had other issues that were way worse than xCloud.
And they're also out of business now. I get it, but so does Luna, and so does GeForce now. And all of those, what they have in common is that they are PC.
They run the PC versions.
And the other thing is these server racks, right? You can amortize the cost when they are not in use.
Yeah, you can use them for other purposes.
Because they can run other workloads.
Yep.
My concern about this entire cloud thing, why I even brought up offloading it, is that if you've ever worked with Azure or AWS or Google Cloud, whatever they call it, I work with AWS a lot. I'm a certified solutions architect. But everything, there is no a la carte, right? There's a la carte, but there's no flat fees for anything. You pay for everything in the cloud based on compute
usage. Yeah.
So if you say that you're going to run a cloud streaming service, you are never going to be able to charge people for compute unless you're Strauss Zelnick that wants to charge people by the hour, right? But you're never going to be able to do that. So any resource in any data center is effectively losing money by running a game streaming workload than running something it could be running in as a cloud service or a cloud server or something like that. And so the question is, what is the upside, right? So if we're saying, okay, you buy a game or it's in your service, right? Just so that you can access it in the cloud and you play that game for 300 hours. Sure, fantastic. Now go spin up an EC2 instance or
use the
an
workload
Azure
for
VM
300 hours and see how much
they're gonna make. And so if you're making that business decision, the thing running the streaming content is losing money just because that resource could be used for something else that would make way more money. So the question is, why
you're using Amazon's business model as the business model. Azure is not the same.
I have to sit on these budgeting boards, so I'm very
and Sick Mechanical, you should know, he and I both share this world. We kind of live in this world. So like
I do too, to a degree.
There you go. So you understand. Everything that goes on Azure is paid for, and they love getting you into Azure so they make oh, see that breath you took? Yeah, that's $5. Give it here, right?
Yeah.
See that other breath you took? That's $5 more. That's what they want us to do. But Everborn, I would say the reason why that may not be the full picture is because that is Amazon's way, right? That's their business model that they've used to get people into the business. It's not the only way, because Azure has existed as well, and they don't pay by the workload, right? They have different business models, different ways of getting people on board and keeping them on board, and it's not pay per compute, right? So I would hear you, Everborn, on that if they were the only game in town, but you're talking about a competitor who themselves have their own cloud platforms that they do different things with. So Amazon's way is not the only game in town, but in Amazon's way, yes, you're absolutely right? Because the more you use, the more it costs. So you wouldn't want somebody who's dedicated to the cloud playing only on Amazon, because you're talking about one customer making thousands of dollars in debt for you if you used Amazon for that purpose, right? I see that, and even in that respect, I think it doesn't. I know they had a conversation with Azure, but if I'm not mistaken, a lot of PlayStation's current streaming services use Azure as the backbone. Still, use AWS as the backbone. Still, right now, I doubt it's pay per use, because if that was the case, Sony would be out of business already. You know what I mean? I suspect they're doing different business there, and it's not pay per use. It would have to be, otherwise you just could not use Azure at AWS for this kind of purpose at all. What do you think, Amazon, Everborn?
Again, it's the whether you're charging for compute or in some cases if you're running a database there, you a lot of the times what you pay for is the storage.
Yeah,
you're still paying for that stuff, and Microsoft charges very close to what Amazon charges. My point is, at the end of the day, you're effectively running this for free, unless you're going to charge an extra cloud access use, and then that would kind of kill the whole business model. So again, I don't know what the answer is here, but I could see a way for them to mitigate that is, hey, let NVIDIA do that. Right? So we'll pay them some percentage of what we get for the PC Ultimate signs ups, and let them worry about.
Hey, I mean, you're not wrong in that they are working with NVIDIA in another respect in AI. You know, providing the hardware and the architecture for NVIDIA to use. NVIDIA is providing the architecture that Microsoft is providing Azure services on top of, with a keen eye to AI. So they are partnering up in many respects in that way. Who says next gen you see them go, oh, by the way, still xCloud is here, but it's a lot of the compute is offloaded onto NVIDIA hardware. Could be, you never know. It's a thing we should keep an eye on. But I will say, to button this up and move forward, you can catch more of our thoughts on it. Myself, I will be speaking with John Wolf about it. He's excited about it. He also has the PlayStation Portal. So catch us Monday night. I think Web Dave will be there. Catch us Monday night. We'll talk handhelds. We'll talk experience in streaming and all of that. So it's an interesting thing to talk about. You wanted to take a quick detour, Everborn, and talk about the Steam Deck OLED 1.5, I call it. What you bought it? What are your thoughts, sir?
Well, I mean, I don't have it yet. I'm waiting to get the.
Well, you purchased it, yeah. But you also had a Steam Deck already.
Right,
so
right.
What's going on? Yeah.
So I had some issues getting in the beginning, which was probably karma for the trick that I tried to pull on you.
He could have called me because I was working from home. He could have called me like, where?
Yeah, I was in the office that day, so I had to do it from my phone.
But he'd already poisoned the well, so he knew he couldn't access me.
In my office, my phone gets terrible signals. I feel like they do it on purpose because they don't want you on your phone. Swear to God. But so I had to go out to the parking lot to go and order this thing, and then by the time I was doing that, it was what's it called? It was like giving me error messages and things like that. But so I was trying to put different SKUs in the cart, the 1 terabyte, the 512, but there has been some discussions about whether the anti-etched screen is good for an OLED display, right? Sorry, the anti-glare
etching, is good for OLED displays. I will tell you, as a person who owns the anti-glare on a non-OLED display, it blurs your vision just slightly. So that LCD display is also garbage, right? But so the point is, people were telling me, hey, you can always transplant the SSD. Don't worry about the 1 terabyte, but get the one without the anti-glare. Yep.
Which, because you want it to, when you're looking at an OLED, you don't care about the glare. You want that like glossy,
the dark black levels. Yes.
Right. Yeah. But so I had that one, and that was the first I got. But I kept thinking about it, Every review and preview of the Steam Deck OLED was using the 1 terabyte.
Of course they were,
and which means
they
had
send you the big dog,
right? But if that's the case, and everyone's raving about this screen, is it actually that bad? And with the 1 terabyte, you get that nice new case that you have the case within a case.
You see what's going on. That
was a real decision making for me.
You see what's going on, right? So, he's basically saying he took all of the lessons from the technologists who he should be listening to, and then threw it out the window and bought the one he bought. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead. What'd you buy?
Then I looked later on, and it was like, oh, so they were staggering the
purchase times,
right, so that they could deal with bots, right? Sony and Nintendo and Microsoft could learn a lot from what they did here. So they staggered that, and so you could actually go back in if you just waited like an hour after the bots all died and went away. You can just go back in and order one. So I was so surprised that I was able to go back and order one. I'm just hitting through the thing, thinking about it. I'm like, oops, I guess I bought another one, and I got the 1 terabyte. So now I have to say, do I return the 1 terabyte, or do I cancel the 1 terabyte, or do I cancel the 512? But every review has been with the 1 terabyte, and they all loved it.
Cancel the 512. You know why? Because in order for the 512 to be beneficial to you, you have to crack open the back and put the 1 terabyte drive in it. You are never doing that. You're not even going to play this 1 terabyte for more than an hour anyway, Mr. Frivolous Purchase. So just buy the 1 terabyte and move forward. Just do that.
I haven't used the Quest 3 yet. Like, I got it.
Oh, and by the way, this is my Quest 2. I use this to teach my daughter piano lessons. I actually use my tech, but he calls me the frivolous spender. Okay, continue.
So, chat, which one should I keep? So we know what K Asante says. What do you say, sir?
I would say keep the 1 terabyte, man.
Why?
It's because it's more future proof. Like well, it depends. If the rumors of K's slanderous accusations, aka Mr. Frivolous Purchase, are true, then don't keep the 1 terabyte because it's way more expensive and you don't need to waste that money. But if you are genuinely like, I am going to use this, I am going to fill it with the premium games of joy.
He's never going to use it.
Then yeah, keep it because it's bigger and faster and bigger and faster, typically in tech, is better, right?
When
But
you
if you're not, if
when you
you're
inevitably
honest
give it
with
to
yourself-
someone or sell it, they will appreciate the 1 terabyte that you'll never use. So keep the 1.
So I'm giving my initial Steam Deck to the 13-year-old because she likes to like ask if she can use the PC all the time just to do things like Roblox and Genshin. But then you get back and your icons are never in the same place, and then like things get weird, and then she downloads like these things that put ads on your computer. So I'm like, here's a computer, plug it in the USB-C dock, go on your way.
9
play
lives
to your heart's content.
9 lives 2010 210 I should say, gives you really good advice. He says get a PS Portal instead, Everborn.
I will time you out for the rest of the show, sir.
Stop it. He's telling you the truth. You're gonna time him out. Cut it out.
The PS Portal sold out in the UK after 2 days. Like, it's clearly it's what the fans wanted, right?
You know,
it's clearly a great piece of tech.
I gotta hand it to Mr. Dan Smooths, man. It's like one final FU on the way out. He's like, they're gonna buy it.
So, ladies and gentlemen,
he's probably like elbowing
because you brought it up,
check this
sir.
out. Because
you brought it up, let us talk about that PlayStation Portal hardware review, because a lot of people are talking about it.
Wait, who's IGN that gave it more than they gave the Steam Deck?
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of people gave it more than Steam Deck. They gave it a higher review than the Series S, but we'll get there. John Wolf bought one. He's talking to me in the background, telling me, "Hey, this is actually pretty good for its use case." Okay, right. So let's talk about it. And let's talk about it earnestly, without any of the snark, because I know there's snark there to be given. I understand.
I don't know.
But let's talk about it earnestly. Let's talk about it earnestly. I will tell you, I had it pre-ordered because yes, I am the tech guy. I tend to do that, but I canceled it after one reason. Spider-Man 2 came out. You know, we love them games. I was playing Spider-Man 2, but you know, dad life. If you have young kids, you're not sitting in front of the OLED big screen with headphones on and thinking you're not going to be disturbed.
True.
They're going to disturb you constantly. So what ended up happening? Booted up the old G Cloud here. Chiaki is an application, third-party application, runs basically the same streaming situation to the PS5. Played 95% of Spider-Man right here. Worked perfectly. Battery lasted longer than any DualSense ever. So I was like, why bother? You know, why bother get that thing to do exactly what this thing can do? And oh, by the way, it runs emulation and Switch games offline. But that's neither here nor there. So the reviews are in, and those who like it really like it. And then there are others who are like, what is this for? So while we have this conversation, I will scroll through here, and this is Metacritic's roundup. Scroll through here and show you folks like Tech Radar giving it 100, folks like comicbook.com. Yeah, oh yeah, they gave it 100, and they said offering superb ergonomics as well as excellent design and build quality with those exquisite DualSense controllers on top.
Okay, I need us to do an experiment right now. Everyone who gave the PlayStation Portal a positive review, I want to see what their Starfield score was.
Oh God, are we gonna do that?
I'm not gonna get too conspiracy hat on it. I would simply say, releasing a device like this, like I kind of get the use case. Like I kind of get it, right?
Yeah.
You know, like it's a nice add-on, and at the end of the day, it's your money. Do what you like, right? Yep. But I will never understand, and I'd love to live in the universe if Microsoft released something like this. I'd love to live in that universe because I do not see them getting a pass like these kinds of glowing reviews if it didn't even have Bluetooth.
No Bluetooth, no ability to access your base OS. It's got like the equivalent of an Android processor for a phone that you would buy for like $50. I think it's the Snapdragon 450. They're like beyond 800 right now. It's a Snapdragon 415 or something like that. It is basically your throw-in free phone specs if you get a subscription service, and they just added a very nice.
Okay.
The screen looks great.
All right.
DualSense, but it's that.
I need to I need
Please
to
step
this
in.
nonsense right now.
No.
Okay.
This is not nonsense. Let's be
Wait
clear.
a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
we are talking about a device that is designed to get you into the PlayStation. $200. Now,
yes.
there have been tests done that shows you will have less latency accessing it on your phone.
Yes.
Oof.
Well,
now,
but hold on. Let's be clear. The reason why that test has been done and there's less latency on your phone is because when it sees the phone, and this is a software thing, when it sees the phone, it goes, oh, you have a phone, you have this side screen or whatever, and it calibrates itself, compresses itself to make it run better on your phone. But for some reason, as of right now, it just gives you full bore 4K, whatever.
Reggie Fils-Aimé, when I say that is Sony's problem, not mine. Now,
I guess what I mean to say with that is that could be a problem solved next week. All they got to do is calibrate. Actually, that's the reason why Chiaki works best on this. You can calibrate
but it is
how
not
much bandwidth
solved
you
now.
can choose. Yes, that's true.
And they are giving this thing glowing reviews.
True.
Now,
yes,
I want to point you to another thing. There is no browser.
No.
So if you took this thing to the park or Starbucks or an airport or any place that has public Wi-Fi, 9 out of 10 times,
this won't work for you.
They will make you go to a web browser to acknowledge the terms of service,
and you can't do that.
But there is none. So what they will tell you is, wait for it, you can just use your phone as a Wi-Fi hotspot. You know what else you could use your phone for?
You could use your phone to do this thing all together and not worry about the whole thing.
Remote play.
Yes, absolutely.
Charge
them more. Yes, sir. Yes.
More. Can you put the link in the chat, please?
So John, just so you know,
put the link in the chat. Go to the webpage.
Oh my God! All right. So just so you know,
if we're just throwing away money,
Mr. Everborn Saga. So you know, John has this website called The Everborn Saga, which, by the way, you go there, you find yourself some amazing manga style comic books, novels that have been written by The Everborn Saga. But
wow.
Yes. This is a world which, if you're not aware of, the Everborn Saga is a world that we are proud to promote here on this channel. Hence, the Everborn Saga. But
of course,
if you scroll through this site and you keep scrolling, you will come to a place where, by the way, is this thing? Is it on the on the
go
cover?
to the top and click all, because it's kind of a joke.
Catalog.
So put it in there. Yeah.
Catalog. Okay. And then which page is this? Oh yeah, there it is. If you happen to go, you will find the Everborn Saga Charge Them More T-shirt, which is $69.99, but it's on sale for $30.
Wow.
And this shirt came about because PlayStation decided to increase the price from 60 to $70, and we were like, and people were defending it. So he was like, why not charge them more? And then they increased the price of the subscription service for no reason. And they were like, okay, charge them more. And now people are literally buying the Charge Them More t-shirt. So he has this available to you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you too want to be charged more, go to this website and get the Charge Them More t-shirt.
That is an incredible t-shirt. You should be very proud.
Yes. He has the Charge Them More t-shirt, which you too can wear. And you too can tell your hooved brothers, yes, that's what they call them, that you stand in solidarity with them. Oh boy. Okay. So there you go.
Wow.
So you happy, Everborn?
Not one of those people that bought the PlayStation Portal bought the Charge Them More shirt. I just want to point that out.
So there you go. Yes. Yeah. See, John, I'm sorry you walked into the troll
it's
of
beautiful.
all trolls.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yes. So there you go. So yes, it looks like, once again, it's a thing. Although I would be remiss if I didn't say, beyond the trollers and beyond the people who out there trying to win for their base or whatever, I know John Wolf is in the chat. I've spoken to him. he says that after playing with it, after using it, and he has all the same services I do. He has access to remote play doing third-party apps and all that. He says that they are doing something interesting with this device. So at least one on his device, it's been working pretty well for him, right? He says the price after using it, and we'll talk more about it on Monday. The price after using it, he can see the $199 purchase price. The first thing I complained about when this thing came out was that it wasn't worth the $350 whatever they were charging for it. Had it come out at $199, it would have been maybe a different conversation. So at least there's that.
I want to point something out. Let's put the PlayStation Portal back on the screen.
Okay, we'll put the PlayStation Portal back on the screen.
Now, since everybody is concerned for Timmy's mom when it comes to Xbox naming conventions, I'm gonna show a little empathy for Timmy's mom here.
Okay.
Hey, Timmy's mom.
Oh boy.
I know Timmy's dad walked out on you.
Oh my God! Are we going there already?
And you're having a hard time on your own. This is your first Christmas on your own with Timmy. And you just want Timmy to feel better. So you go into your local Best Buy, and on one side you see a Switch. That's old, and he already has 3 of them. So you see the whole PlayStation Portal. It looks just like a Switch. Same price. Let me go buy one for Timmy.
And Timmy doesn't have a PS5.
Christmas morning. Timmy does not have a PS5.
Oh my God. What is wrong with you?
Now, what is Timmy's mom gonna do?
Run out and go get a PS5. What?
Because she could try to return it, but guess what? Sony don't do returns.
Hey, you know what? What about a service where you could have a PlayStation in the cloud and you could just use your remote thing to connect to it? You pay your sub fee, and then you can have this device and it just connects to the cloud, and you can just keep playing it wherever you are. Call it PS Now.
Don't be silly. Come on.
What's wrong with you?
I'm sorry. Enough trolling. Let's move on. Enough trolling. We've done enough of that. We've done enough of that. Yes. But okay, so I guess you know what? I'm gonna lie. I was lying. I was saying enough trolling, but we're not quite done with the trolling. We're just moving on from PlayStation trolling because Sega has responded to all the acquisition rumors.
You thought you had one here, didn't you? But go ahead. I'll let you tee it up, and then I will.
No, this is not what I'm doing. But you can respond. You can respond. Sega, after all the conversations, has responded saying they feel honored and people love their IPs and stuff. But by and large, they're not looking to be consumed right now.
No,
go ahead, Everborn.
I want to be very clear. They said they have many people looking. And they are honored, but they have very strong IP. And if anything, they will be the ones doing the
acquisitions. Yes. Okay. So now, disabuse me of all of these knowledge.
Now, we're going to ignore the fact that that's the same thing Bungie said right before they got purchased.
It's exactly the same thing everyone says before they get purchased, but that's neither here nor there. Continue. Yeah?
If you were in acquisition talks and you needed to listen, Rovio said the same thing the weekend before they were acquired by Sega. But if a company is offering you X and you want Y, you know what you're going to tell them? I got a lot of options.
That's right.
I got a lot of IP. I'm fine staying independent. Unless you sweeten the pot a little bit.
You thought I was about to you thought I got one over on you, but believe it or not, this is me hook, line, and sinker in your camp, because to your point, they all say that. And then 5 minutes later, they pull a Bobby Kotick move. So,
Now what I would like to say, right? You guys make fun of this all the time. That never would have happened under Microsoft ownership.
So, John, what are your thoughts? They are.
And I'm not saying they wouldn't have let people go.
Yeah, but it wouldn't have been
headline,
like this. Yes,
that would not happen.
They're talking all this. We don't need to be acquired. We have strong IPs, and then by the way, 40% of our unionized members. Peace out. What do we think there, John?
Look, all companies will say we have no interest in being acquired until they're acquired, right? It's part of the course. If we're living in a world where do we think Microsoft are actively hunting around for them right now? Man, I'll say it. I'll change my Twitter handle to something ridiculous. I don't see any Microsoft acquisition of that scale for at least a year. Honestly,
I would. No,
it's
wait
too
a minute.
short.
I would go further than that because I think they need to wait until the regulatory climate changes.
The regulatory
100%
climate
agree.
is one thing, you know, but they have a battle here in the, you know, Sega's right. They do have some really great IPs. They've also got some really great studios. Every company is downsizing. Every company is making these cutbacks. You know, it's never been truer that 2023 has been an incredible year for people that play games, a terrible year for people that make them. And I don't think Sega are immune to that. Like, I don't think we could read that much into the statement of, you know, we're in a really strong place, and then they make layoffs. Like, it's one person. It's not the company speaking. You know what I mean? It's on behalf of, but I don't think it has any real standing. And I don't see a world where Microsoft are going to make this purchase anytime soon. In fact, I don't think Microsoft are particularly going to target a publisher, if ever, again, because of the regulatory climate, but also it's a hell of a lot to manage, and it's a hell of an investment. Look at Embracer. They lived in a world where interest rates were low and they had this grand plan, and then they realized to run all of this stuff, we're going to have to keep like pulling in investment money, but they weren't making the money back. And then, the dream's over. We've no longer got the investment money coming in. We have to actually try and make this work as a business. Time to sell everything.
To be fair, 80% of Embracer studios were literally like not great at all. I'm trying to be generous.
I love it when you guys thread these needles for me. Keep going, sir. Keep going. Yes.
So again, there are standouts, right, that are good, that will make money. And this is why I know a lot of us, myself included, were very pissed off when Embracer were the one that got Crystal Dynamics and IDOS, because many of us think they would be a very good fit at Xbox, since they're working with them already, and they make the kind of games that Microsoft is kind of short on. Like, there's a lot of Western RPGs, there's a lot of first-person shooters, a lot of strategy service games, not a lot of the narrative third-person games. So that's why a lot of us wanted Crystal Dynamics and IDOS. And they went to Embracer for so cheap, and we're like, what the hell, Phil? You could, but he was tied up. The problem is, they are the only ones at Embracer right now that are actually bringing in money. So if Embracer were to sell those and then keep the rest of the stuff that no one wants, then it's definitely grand closing, right? So I don't know if Embracer will even want to sell those. They'll want to offload or shut down the other studios that haven't delivered anything in a while.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to. You're going to see a bunch of further studio closures. They have contracts with Microsoft, with I think Eidos Montreal are helping with Perfect Dark. We have
Crystal Dynamics is helping with Perfect Dark, and Eidos is helping with Fable.
That's the one.
And Crystal also has a contract with Amazon for Tomb Raider. So those are the ones that are actually bringing them the money. Yeah. I don't think they're gonna want to let those go, unfortunately.
Yeah. But it's happening, whether people like it or not. You know, it seems like Embracer's the tower of Embracer is finally falling apart, and it might be fire sale time.
The last thing I want to say that you brought up, I could see one more publisher just in that region of the world. So whether it's Sega or something, I want it to be Sega.
Yeah,
but that's a part of the world where when you're in APAC, right? And you can make content that will speak. Listen, maybe who they get will be somebody in South Korea. I don't know, right? There's Nexon, there's all these guys. But I do think they would branch out to that area because they literally have no understanding of that place, and they need a publisher that does have those skills. And I think they'd probably largely run them like even more hands off than they will be with ABK, just to sort of let them say, hey, you're our arm in this APAC region, and you're going to make content that speaks to, you know, South Korea, Japan, China, things like that.
Yeah. You know.
That I could see just for strategic reasons, but other than that, no, I don't see them going after another like publisher, like you said. But unless it's in that region,
I'd be amused to be wrong, but I doubt it.
9 Lives 210 says Phil should buy NeoWiz. These are the developers for Liza P, who themselves also acquired somebody recently, if I'm not mistaken. NeoWiz just acquired somebody. They're slowly like buying each other up little by little by little. Liza P was an interesting, you know, it came out of nowhere and made a big splash, you know. And I don't think
now it's the best RPG of the year.
Stop it.
For no reason. No.
Cut it out. See, the salt is still flowing, but we're gonna move forward on that one. You know, it will be interesting to see. It will be interesting to see. Now, I have a few more odds and ends before we get to some really interesting conversation. But before we get there, I will say, folks, please hit the like button. We have like what, 63 likes. We see 200 plus people in here. Salute to y'all for being here on a Saturday morning with us.
200 plus and only 63 likes. That is, I mean,
what a ratio.
Okay, I just stop the stream.
Oh, okay.
I'm not putting up with that. Just, you know, doof.
You know,
come on, just move those thumbs.
Please hit the like button. It's free. You know.
Let me throw some chum in the water here.
Okay.
Because there was some huge breaking news yesterday.
Yeah.
Sam Altman.
Oh yeah, the AI
is fired from OpenAI.
Yes.
Now, if you don't know who OpenAI is, they are the makers of ChatGPT. They are also 49% owned by Microsoft. And the co-founder, upon hearing this news, the news of Sam Altman's firing, quit.
Yep.
Microsoft entered into full damage control mode to remind everyone that they own that 49% stake and they have access to everything they need for their future. Because if you haven't noticed, Microsoft has been integrating AI into everything.
Yeah, I turned my PC on and I've got Copilot on my desktop.
Absolutely. Right, yes, we do.
I was like, oh, what's this?
Okay.
For?
Yep.
And so what the board says, because he was fired by the board, and they said that he has been less than candid, making it difficult for the board to perform their duties. In other words, he lied. Now the question is, what did he lie about?
Yep. Did he lie in favor or against certain things that have happened right now? That's the question.
The Microsoft in just minutes after the news dipped nearly 2%, maybe more now, but after it happened, it was like down 1.68%. But when you're a $2.7 trillion company, I need you to understand how many billions of dollars that just disappeared.
That tiny dip. Yes, absolutely.
On that news.
Oh, and real quick, I don't know if you heard, Everborn. The initial thought was, oh, maybe Microsoft didn't like something that Altman was doing, so they were part of it. It's now come out. I think Bloomberg did some background investigation to find out that two corroborating sources say Microsoft knew nothing about it until about an hour ago, an hour before the news was made public.
I heard, I heard that. Dina Bass reported on that. It was minutes before it was public. They were notified. But again, how do you tell someone who is a 49% stake in the company minutes before you let them go? And if you're letting someone go so abruptly, saying that they lied to you, that tells me that maybe they know someone's going to come knocking on their door and they needed to cut ties for plausible deniability to anything very quick. Is that tinfoil kufi, or is that
clearly it is? Clearly, I'm like,
no. But think about it. They're literally saying they fired the founder and CEO.
It's his company
for being less than candid to the board. making it impossible to do their jobs or difficult to do their perform their duties. What does that mean where it happens so quick?
And for our gaming audience, what is that reverberation? What will that mean? What will that mean?
If this whole AI thing doesn't work out for Microsoft, at least they got gaming, right?
I mean, as J Rock is saying, it sounds like the feds are shutting down Skynet.
I just want to know what they are alleging he lied about.
Yeah. Are they upset with the deal he's made with Microsoft, or are they upset? Or is Microsoft not getting, like, something's happening? Either it's in MS's favor or it's against MS. And the fact that they had no idea this was happening before it happened tells me that Microsoft maybe got a sweetheart deal that the board was like, come on, man, you gave away the Brinks truck. Why'd you do that?
Maybe that's what happened.
Because I mean, Microsoft has like a lot of exclusive rights to a
lot of their stuff.
To their tech.
Yes.
Right. Exclusive commercial rights. This is why they're the only like OpenAI selling tools and API stuff to people. Mm-hmm. But in terms of integrating it into their own tools, it's only Microsoft that is really doing that. And they're going hard. I don't know if you paid attention to Ignite with all the AI stuff they're doing.
Everything is AI today.
So again, is this Altman was standing in the way of a further Microsoft takeover, or is it Altman was the one
raising the red
close
flag
to Microsoft, and they wanted him out the way because they have I'm very interested in what happens with that relationship going forward. Now the interim CEO came up put out a statement saying, and this was probably just to bleed
Mira, I forget her
stop the stock from bleeding, saying that she reiterated that Microsoft has full confidence in their new strategy.
Yep. Absolutely.
But again, that doesn't necessarily mean it's all rosy on the inside. Satya Nadella had to put out a blog post late night, like full on damage control.
Did we see him like come out today wearing a ChatGPT hoodie? Because then you know it's over.
Yeah, it's
if he comes out with ChatGPT on his back,
shout out
you know what happened when he did that about gaming? $70 billion just flew out of his pocket.
I hear you. But again, they own 49%. Can they even buy the rest? Because honestly, if I'm them right now, I'm like, listen,
looking to shore up the tech.
You got something going on. I need to close ranks and I need to purchase the rest because I don't know what you guys are doing. The fact that they don't even know for a partner that is so critical to their future right now.
Yep.
The whole company
minutes before the company changes. Yeah. Yep.
That's wild.
If they weren't doing it, they are right now going, we need our own iteration so we can cut ties if need be. Because this is a problem. This is a problem. Right? Like minutes before this whole thing upends, and a day ago we literally just came out and told the entire world we're betting the entire company on OpenAI's tech, and then tomorrow OpenAI guys fired.
Wait a minute, and the week before, Sam Altman comes out and says, "We will protect you if you are ever sued and cover your legal expenses if you're ever sued for copyright infringement."
And then the board said, "What did you say?"
Or API?
The board said, "Excuse me, sir."
A week later, he's fired after making that promise. I'm not saying correlation is causation.
All right, take off the kufi, sir. Take off the kufi. Let's move forward. Take off the kufi real quick. I'll just put this here. Hold on. And then we'll move on. We'll move on. We won't even address it. We'll just leave that there.
$10
we'll move on
if you already have the game.
Well, right? No, I'm gonna buy it on PC. I'm gonna buy it, so I'm probably gonna.
You have to wait because it's not on PC yet.
But when it comes on PC,
yeah, it'll be like 3 months.
Yeah.
So, yeah, $10 upgrade fee if you own the game.
That's a good move.
Sure, they're not selling it to you all the way again like they did with the Last of Us Remake.
Yeah.
So this is basically a $10 DLC.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
That's just what it is.
Yes.
It's a $10 DLC. I get it, but you still gotta get the smoke because just call it a $10 DLC. Just call it a $10 DLC, and don't lie and tell us it's remastered so you can re-release it again, and then you're gonna re-release it again in 3 months on PC.
So by the way, ladies and gentlemen, oh, and I see you in there, 108 Dragons TV, salute to you, good sir. Right in that chat, there's also the link to Everborn Saga's Charge Them More t-shirt. Just saying.
Look, it's a really solid game, right? Reportedly, everyone. I know that it's divisive in terms of its narrative, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's a huge IP. PlayStation players will pay for it.
Sure.
Right?
I mean, they bought the Portal, right? What? I'm not mad at this.
No. I
Charge them more.
I think it's fine. You know, like I know we live in a world from a Microsoft camp point of view that when they were doing their upgrades, they just here you go, and they just came out and they were all free and they were all just part of the. You remember like the whole upgrade thing with the Series X, and even back in the day with the Xbox One X, you would just get these upgrades and they would just happen.
Yep.
And that's a nice world to live in, right? But you know, Sony is in a, they've got an incredible brand, but they're not in this all singing, all dancing, money making position comparatively to what you might think that they're in. And I think that they've got to protect themselves where they can. So I don't begrudge them this.
Yeah,
it feels a little like icky, but they're doing the right thing at least by offering it as an upgrade for people that have already bought the game that came out 3 years ago, as opposed to, oh, you want to play this? You want to play this in high fidelity? Give us 60 quid. Yeah. You know, that's at least a better start than what it could have been. So, you know what? It's all good. It's
listen. The customers love it. I like you saw everybody yesterday.
Very excited.
While they were waiting to connect to Wi-Fi on their PlayStation Portal, they were pre-ordering this from their phone. And then playing remote play from their phone while they waited for the thing to load up.
He says while he was hitting F5 from his phone trying to buy a Steam Deck OLED 1.5.
A real device. But the point is, listen, I think $10 is fine. They're adding new modes. They're adding new features. It's fine. That doesn't mean I'm not going to make fun of you for it. That's it. But it's fine.
And then I'll also put around this story.
Yeah. I mean,
I just want to shout out, just 1 second. I want to shout out to all of the Xbox guys that was like, oh my God, this is a major L for Xbox when they saw this show up on the Sony stage, just because they had a little 3-second CGI thing. And I told everybody, relax. And they thought I was damage controlling. Look at us now.
Well, it's funny you say that, right? Because when this came out, I think one of the discussions we had on the XboxEra podcast, and I was like, look, I don't want to disparage. Is it Aspire that we're doing this?
Yeah, Aspire.
Before it was
absolutely
right. I don't want to disparage them, but I was like, I've looked at their other games. Like, if people are going, why did Microsoft allow this to happen? My gut take, and you can go back and look at the episode, was I think Microsoft looked at the dev, looked at the track record, looked at the end results, and was like, we're good. We're good. Don't worry. It's okay. And I think, you know, that's it. That's the gist.
What I said at the time, I think which was similar to you, which was, has Aspire ever made a AAA game? Right? They've done these like porting things, and they've done some mobile stuff, but they hadn't done this. So let's see what it is. Also, I just want to shout out J-Rock in the chat, who says, will Last of Us 2 Remastered qualify for best ongoing game in next year's game?
Oh my God. Oh no. Oh my God. You're going to blow up my head.
I think it's a legitimate question. It's a legitimate question.
Stop it. Yes. It could be the best game of the year and best ongoing game at the same time. Oh, it'd be something else. Y'all are here for violence this morning. Okay. All right. Let's move on. I have the big story I want to talk about, and that'll be talking about Xbox's past, and that'll lead us into a discussion of Xbox's future. But before we do that, one final little nugget I want to throw in, and this is out of left field, and it'll thread into our On the Real Minute we talked about a little bit before, and that is Donald Mustard. Remember that guy? You know, every time I hear his name, I think of the game Clue, and it wasn't it was the
Colonel Mustard.
Yeah, it was Colonel Mustard who did it in the foyer with a hammer. You know, Donald Mustard. He left Epic, which I was very sad about, because he is the maker of one of my favorite games, which is Shadow Complex. I was waiting for one day Shadow Complex to return. He left. I was very sad about that. And now it looks like he has joined AGBO. Like AGBO is a production house. Some people may or may not know what they are. They are the production company that is responsible for Everything Everywhere All at Once, the movie that was freaking awesome. But they've never made a game before, and now they have Donald Mustard in a senior position, and it's making people go, So I will start with you, Everborn movie goer, movie viewer. Does this raise your eyebrow, or is this kind of nothing to see here?
This does not raise my eyebrow in the slightest. I would like to see whether they have a name, but many startups start with a name. You need to see what the actual building out those processes are like. And so we are many years off from them having to have anything. And if the initiative tells you anything, it may not amount to anything. So the names are great.
Yeah.
When they show me a trailer,
the reason why this is interesting though is this is not public knowledge. This is someone that has seen, he's part of their group now. That you go ask Donald Mustard, he's got nothing to say. You go ask the PR
it's kind of public if they're reporting it on Axios, right?
Well, yeah, this is what Axios is. This is Axios's research, right? Nobody will speak about, he's taking a job now. It's official. It's not. This is all Axios is reporting. It's there. It's a fact, but they're kind of keeping it hush hush. Even if you speak to the production company, they're like, we have nothing to discuss, and they move on.
Interesting.
It's some. That's why I'm like, you get that all the time, where it's like, we are now, proud to have this man join us or whatever. You heard it when Joe Staten joined Netflix, right? This is the same kind of deal. But in this instance, they're like, nothing to see here, move along. But he's been hired, right? Well, we'll talk about that later. It just seems a little suspect. John, what are your thoughts?
And how long is it going to take before we see the fruits of Joseph Staten?
That may be why they're suspect and quiet here, right?
No, I'm not saying like it's a bad or good thing. I'm just saying it's just a hire, right? Like it will take years for that to bear any fruit. So I'm just not interested until we see it bear fruit.
We've seen instances of Pixar animators joining video game companies, video game animators joining movie companies. You could say that he is just a creative and he is now pursuing a lifelong passion. Like, it may just be, we are connecting dots that don't exist. He might just be doing something brand new for himself. Could they be spinning up some sort of, experimental video game arm? Yeah, maybe. Like, I still maintain that video games as a medium is the most interesting way to tell stories through gameplay, not watching cutscenes, just FYI. But you just don't know. And, well, I don't skip cutscenes with aplomb like Nick does, but I understand his mentality. He's there to play, not to watch, right? I would just say that sometimes
there to lead, not to read.
What is that? Come on, there's a movie quote here coming in. No, it's a Simpsons quote. I was paid to lead, not to read.
Yeah, thank you. Exactly.
Yes,
sorry, it took my aging brain a little while to get there, but yeah, like it could be interesting. It could be something, but it could just be that someone has found another passion that they want to go pursue. Because clearly they're not making another Shadow Complex at Epic for some time. So. Sorry, Kay. I'm sad too.
There you go. No, I'm sad about it too. I was sad to see Donald leave, and now I hear him back on the radar at a movie TV show production house, and I'm just like, okay, we shall see. We shall see.
What are you doing there?
Yeah, what are you doing there? Yeah. You were a big name in where you were, and now you're just kind of, nothing to see here. Move along. I'm like, okay, all right, that's interesting. All right, so
Now, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, just to interject.
Yep.
I probably have about 15, 20 minutes before I got some dinner that's being cooked. The smell is wafting in right now, and I'm like,
excellent. Perfect timing. Perfect timing, because we're gonna round about. I want to have, at least specifically with you, I want to have a conversation about Xbox's past, because you are like perfectly equipped for this time to have that conversation. Not only because it just so happened to be Xbox's 2020th anniversary of the OG Xbox, but and then we had him on the show. But then, of course, they released this amazing book that coincides perfectly with that time frame. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the part of the proceedings where I will sit here and gush about how amazing this project is, how proud I am that I got my hands on it. And this is my resume building exercise to say, if y'all doing the Xbox 360 one, the guy with the thumbs wants to be a part. Yeah.
we are going to do a 360.
Oh yeah. All right. Excellent. Talk to the people about this book real quick. Let's have a quick chat. Is there any way anyone who wasn't part of the initial Kickstarter will ever get their hands on this thing? Ever? I'm sorry. I know this was bleeding, like literally putting blood from a stone from you to get this out. I know.
I won't take up too much time on it, right?
Please, speak on it.
It's been a really tough road, right? Like we've never done a Kickstarter before, and we were very lucky. Pre-Drag, our art lead, he is an exceptionally talented individual, and he's worked for over 15 years in art production and particularly in print. So we were like, okay, we've got someone who understands how books are made, right? We ended up finding an incredible craftsman team that actually put the book together for us. You've seen it. It is incredible. But then the process of actually bringing it to life and getting it done and going through editing, like I've got to give a shout out. And there are people on the team like One Bad Mother, Kage Maru, Soul Blazers, Chengiz. These guys went nuts and rereading because once you click print, you're done. You can't edit the article. Do you know what I mean? So there was all that element to it, and obviously, you know, for the backers, I was pretty open about this. You know, we didn't plan to take 2 years to release this thing. We announced it, and you know, I went through some personal stuff 3 months later that kind of just threw everything off kilter and kind of ruined my life a little bit for like a year. It was unfortunate. It wasn't planned, and you know, we appreciated the backers' patience. I was quite open about it, but you know, it wasn't part of the plan. But then getting to that final hurdle, the latest drama was that, you know, they're shipping now. Like I think the last batch of shipping, I think people in the UK from the last physical editions got theirs yesterday for the majority. Americans, they've been sent out, and elsewhere in the world you'll start to see the people receiving them over this week. But the big drama for me was we did the Kickstarter and we requested X amount for delivery, right? And we looked, we did our research, and Kickstarter said, it's this for US on average, it's this for other places. So, you know, ballpark it and, you know, worry about the rest later. And then wars happened in Ukraine and recessions and all sorts of shit. And the delivery cost doubled. So, oh no, now that's on me. Right, I'm, you know, as a company, XboxEra isn't, despite outwardly appearing so, this super rich business. I'm taking on that personal debt, and then we're halfway through the delivery schedule, and I get the first bill, and they're charging me £90 per delivery to the US.
Oh my God.
For context, we're sending out over 550 books, and the majority are to the US. Now, if I was just to say that 300 were at £90, that is £27,000 to just send books out. It's insane, right? So obviously I'm aggrieved, but also this debt is on me. I'm the one that's going to go bust. So I was like freaking out. It's very stressful. They're working with me on the bill, and we will find a way forward.
So for my troglodyte USers out there, we're talking $34,000.
Oh yeah, painful. Can you imagine getting that bill? You know, as a dad with 2 kids and a mortgage, you'd be shitting bricks, right? So bit stressful, I won't lie. but we're here now, and it's done, and it's in people's hands. Now, I loved the shout out you gave us when you got yours through. I watched it. Every single post I've seen on Twitter, people's reaction to actually seeing the quality that we managed to pull together with the teams we worked with.
Holy crap, what quality.
Chef's kiss.
Amazing.
My favorite one, James Shields, one of the hardware leads at Microsoft.
I saw the tweet, yes.
It's now on display in Redmond, in Studio B, for everyone on the hardware team and people and guests to see.
So cool. That's
and
so cool.
I'll tell you a cool story. I saw James Shields at Gamescom, and we were discussing some other bits and pieces, and one of his team members was a bit delayed, so we were kind of sitting around. I was like, I've got some hardware for you, and I pulled out my kind of demo copy that I've been walking around Gamescom with, and it was like really like wonderful to see this hardware team who make incredible stuff going, this is fucking incredible. Like, it was cool. So will we do a 360 book? Will I do all this again? Yeah, we'll do it again. But we'll do it differently. We're starting work on it now. All right. We're not going to announce for a while. All right. We're going to get our ducks in a row first, and then we'll go from there.
Excellent. Real quick, because he put out a great super chat. Thank you, BT Maverick. BT Maverick 707. $20 super chat. He says, want to say thank you to XboxEra for bringing proper representation into gaming media world where it is sorely lacking. Xbox 2 nailed what was the Xbox tax, and this is why we need more credible sites like Era. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Excellent.
And I realized I didn't answer the important question. Will you be able to buy this book? I have a load of spares.
Okay.
Right now, they're sitting in my hallway. They're taking up space. Once I am in a place where all of my backers, and I have fulfilled my promise to everybody that's been so patient and put their money on the table, we are exploring when and how we can bring it to retail. Now, the worst case scenario is I will know how much I've got of each version, because yes, I've got some special edition ones, the super fancy ones. I'll work out a reasonable retail price, and we will just find a way to sell them on the XboxEra.com website. But my dream would be to see if we can find a partner to bring this to retail in some form. Now, I am exploring some things on that. I am not going to name any names. I've reached out to some companies that I think would be good to partner with. And if we can find something there to make that happen, I will make it happen.
I will ask you.
All I'll say is watch this space.
So I will ask you to talk to Mr. Everborn Saga, a printer of books. Everborn Saga, sir. What are your thoughts?
So yeah, I'm very familiar with this because we do a lot of physical books, and that's where most of our sales come from. And I can speak very personally to your international shipping rates, because here in the I'll just explain this, right? Like, we sell our books on my website, everbornsaga.com. Go check it out right now. And every book that people buy comes signed by me. Print quality is all inspected by me, all great, and I match the same price that Amazon sells it for, right? But when you get it from me, it costs, because you know this, right? When you buy in bulk, the price goes down, right?
Yep.
So for me to buy like Ariel's Adventure Chapter 1, we did a run of 1,000 of them, right? At 1,000 with shipping and everything, $2 a book, full color, right? Now on Amazon, because if you order from me, like if you ordered right now, you're in the UK, right?
Yeah.
You ordered right now, it would be $30 shipping, right? Just because it's not as thick as the Xbox book. So $30
the thing weighs 2 kilograms.
Right. So what we had to do was we had to go to KDP, which is Amazon's printing service, print on demand service.
Yep.
And we offer the books on Amazon for them to print, not as high quality as us, right? But they do print it a la carte when someone orders, and they will get the free shipping, right?
We have explored that route. We have explored that route, and I'll give you a little sneak peek of something exclusive now. I think I've shown this on the XboxEra podcast, but
Nice.
Oh wow!
right
The
now,
Day One magazine. That's amazing.
we're an
That's
XboxEra
the print
website.
sample. You see that gray line?
Yeah, so this is a print sample. Now, the thing that really bugs us is they do not allow for anything on the inside cover.
Yes. I was just coming to that point. So when you order the books from us, you have the print on, because they print inside cover. Amazon does not do that.
Be back. Yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
Right.
Yep.
And then Amazon does hardcovers, but they're also not as good as what you could get on the hardcover front. Now, I just want to explain, and their ink and gloss is not as great, right? This is actually amazing, and I want one of those.
Yes, I want one of those. Yes.
But here's the other problem, and now you know how much that sample cost you for one full color book.
Yeah, it was 600 quid, the first demo version.
Wow.
Now this is the thing. I think Ariel's Adventure on Amazon is $12.99, right? Of that $12.99, if you bought it from Amazon, I would get about $2. Right?
Yeah.
I want you to think about that. I get $2 goddamn from a $12.99 book.
Yep.
And it's actually a little bit less than $2. But I tell people, listen, but I'm not gonna get any money from someone who has to pay $30 or $40 shipping to Europe. Right? So I tell people I'd rather have you as a customer, even though I don't really make any money. If you're outside of the United States, then you just don't get the book at all. But if you order from everbornsaga.com, you get the better print, you get the inside cover print, you get the signed copy, you get the letter and all that. And I charge a flat rate in the US for $5 for shipping, no matter where you're going in the US.
Yeah.
But I discount the price from 13 down to 10 so you can mitigate that cost from buying from Amazon, because if you buy it on Amazon for 13, you get free shipping with Prime. So you buy it from me, you get $10, but it's signed and all that other stuff. But again, same book, better quality. You buy it from me, I get $8. You buy it from
Amazon, you get Amazon 1.5.
I get sub $2 I get.
Fantastic. Wow.
Because what Amazon does is subtract the printing cost, and then they take I think 40 or 60%.
No.
That's after the printing cost.
And by the way,
the printing cost for Amazon for one book of my size is like near $6 because it's full color.
Wow. It's a racket, isn't it? It's a bit of a racket.
It is. So I would probably cap this section off, because I am conscious, like, I'm going to have people knocking down my door, or I'll be eating on the show, which is
no worries. Not a problem at all. Not a problem.
I'll cap this off saying, like, to anyone watching, like, and calling out BT Maverick with the representation, like, I know the whole Xbox tax is real. Like, we'll probably make a joke T-shirt out of it at some point.
Okay.
Ooh.
Right, like Pre-Drag will bring his art to it. We'll probably do it for our patrons first.
There you
that's
go.
usually the way to go.
Yeah.
Like, the games industry business is not a moneymaker, right? And we live in a world, you know, I did a video on this, right? And I'm not saying that there's some wide conspiracy of, you know, suck it up, Xbox. But we live in a world where clicks drive revenue, and that's the primary way every site, including ours, will make money. So, and guess what? Humanity loves negativity. Negativity sells. And we live in an industry where there is a clear market leader. It is the clear preference. And this is objective fact. This isn't a conspiracy. It is the clear preference for the majority of gaming media. Their primary place to play for any multi-platform game is PlayStation. Do I knock them for that, for being a human being and having a preference? No. But to then go, but it definitely doesn't affect any of my opinions, I'm like, I don't believe you. Because guess what? We're all human beings. It definitely fucking does. Right? So you've seen it. You've seen this sudden pitch and twist, right? Look at all the Xbox podcasts that popped up. Now, they're a fan-run Xbox podcast. Why do they exist? Because the community felt underrepresented. But then you're seeing all these big gaming sites and media conglomerates going, shit, Microsoft aren't leaving gaming. In fact, they're going even harder. And we're going to have to like be prepared to pivot and be able to cover this. So you see all of these spring up and pop up. And then they go, oh, but we have to know about it. And you can sense that they just don't want to learn this extra piece of the industry. They don't want to get into the details. That's why our podcast exists. That's probably why yours exists, because we get fed up as a community. You're sitting there going,
we want to be the change we see in this universe. We want to be that change.
Well, yes. let me just add something to that, right? Like this is my biggest concern about this. It is a numbers game, and it's exactly like you said. There's not like Dan Stapleton leading a cabal in the middle of the night trying to set things up, right? That's not what's going on, right? Down with Xbox. No, but what pisses everybody off is it's this kind of gaslighting that's going on. You said it, right? You review games, but you know what your website is called? XboxEra.
That means we're biased.
What? It doesn't have to mean that, right? But
it does. That's what's hilarious.
Yeah, no, sure. But what I'm saying is anything that you review, I can color what you're saying with that's XboxEra, and I can put my level of whatever amount of grain of salt I want to add to what you say. The problem is they're clearly doing this thing right in your face, like giving the goddamn PlayStation Portal an 8, right? They're doing this right in your face. And then they're telling you you're the crazy one. There's no such thing. We look, like you said, go to Metacritic right now. Look at any multi-plat game. Look how many people review it on PlayStation versus Xbox. Anyone. And it's going to be like 4-1, the number of reviews. That doesn't tell you where they want to play?
I'm not begrudging someone having a preference, but to just pretend that it doesn't affect anything. Yeah, come on.
And that is the thing. And again, this whole thing with the Game Awards, it's the same media. Again, and this is all what it is. These are people who are more entrenched. Forget about bias. Forget about all of that. These are people who are just happen to be more entrenched in the PlayStation ecosystem. And you can tell this by the way they write that. And the people who are more entrenched in the Xbox ecosystem can call out how this thing doesn't make sense, or that thing may seem overly cynical, or all that. And that's just what happens if you're not really entrenched in that ecosystem. And there are far more Metro UKs and Gaming Bolts and Push Squares and IGNs than there are XboxEras and Windows Central. And so this is why you see that, right?
So, I don't mean to cut it off, but I know that we have Sticka Mechanical for just a short more amount of time.
I can give you I can hear the plates going down, and I can hear the cutlery. So let's call it 120 seconds. 120
seconds. So first off, those on the screen, those are the codes. We'll give you more in a little bit. But before you leave us, Sticka Mechanical, we thank you so much for being here. We think it's
apologies.
Awesome
it could be for longer.
Here. Oh, please. We run a long show. It just is what it is. We know it. We appreciate any time you can give us. But before you step out and we continue this conversation, I need to ask you, sir, because we looked at the past. You guys have expertly looked at the past with this amazing book, which, keep us posted as to how people can buy some. And I'm sure we'll promote it.
Keep an eye on XboxEra.com.
That's right. Give us, I don't have to tell you any of the preamble. You follow it as well as I do. All the moving and shaking, the changing leadership. Now we see huge games, huge.
Hurry up and ask this question.
Monsters. What do we see in the next 10 years from them?
10 years from
where's
Microsoft?
The future? Yes, because this is 20 years in the past. Now we're looking to the future. They have started something new. What, in your opinion, do we see? What next huge thing that we didn't see happening 10 years ago, which was Xbox, do we see could potentially happen next year? Xbox handheld?
I think, so
third party only?
No. Right. So I think you will see. I think Microsoft are acutely aware of how powerful a handheld system could be for them. Like acutely aware.
Ooh. All right.
And I have to be careful what I say.
Xbox handheld FTW.
I think Microsoft are very aware of that. They're very aware of maintaining their power narrative, right? I think that they value that. They also value the community values that. Do you know what I mean? Like they understand that as an Xbox owner, and that's where the Xbox One first slip up was you did not give us that power crown, as silly as that is, right? They understand it has to be games focused first, but I think as always, they're going to look on ways to bring better value to the service that they provide. I think that they are definitely looking at what handhelds are capable of, and as technology goes, we're seeing closer partnerships with Intel. We're seeing discussion around ARM. I'm super curious to see what the next level of hardware will be. Will we see an Xbox Series X Pro? Yes and no. I think they're going to be forced to, but they probably don't want to. I would prefer that they say, "Hey, we're not going to go the Pro route. All right, there's PCs for that. All right." I would love to see a Series S portable where they take, so for developers, hey, yeah, it will just recognize it's going to have the same components roughly, a year or two from now as a Series S. It'll run at 720p instead of 1080. It'll take every game I own, everything, and I can just walk out the door with it. No, it's going to have Bluetooth. Yes, it's going to have Wi-Fi. Yes, it's going to have a built-in browser. All of that stuff.
Yeah.
Capture that audience, because I think the value of Game Pass comes from gone are the days where I have to persuade 10 mates to all buy the same game so we can all play together. You have one subscription, you talk and can you communicate around that subscription, and it creates that kind of water cooler Netflix style moment of, did you see this show? Everyone can watch it because they've all got it. Like that's the avenue you need to go. I'm not saying give up on the power crown, and I think they'll probably pivot and do some sort of pro console, but I would prefer them to really focus on giving them a bespoke native handheld experience where I can take my entire library with me, and I can use xCloud if I want, but give us the works. That's what I want. There you go. That was a little longer than 2 minutes, but
no, that's excellent. That is absolutely excellent. And I'm sure Everborn Saga, you have a lot more to say. We will continue that. But
I won't hold you up, sir.
Well, yeah. Let me say thank you very much for having me. Thank you to the community for being very cool in the chat. I'm loving all of the energy. And I've got a shout out. I'm going to read one of your own super chats for you because I have to agree to it. BT Maverick 707. Jesse is a gaming beast. That man is a freaking machine.
He's a monster.
XboxEra owes him a lot, right? Bear in mind, it's nuts. I have at least 2 or 3 applications from genuine journalists, video producers in my inbox asking, can I come work for you? And I have to say, I'd love to, but I don't even pay myself yet, let alone my team. So no, but that's what we're aspiring to. So I would always say, and yes, it's a shill move and people get annoyed about it, but if you value what we do, patreon.com/XboxEra, it's the easiest and quickest way you can support us. But yeah, thank you for having me on. I love it. I love being able to come on a show and not have to host. So
I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for being here. Catch John on XboxEra. Oh, catch John on the XboxEra podcast today.
I'll see you in 5 hours
with a certain co-host who will be with him.
Yeah, I'll see you
later. Thank you so much.
Good to chat, Everborn. I'll catch you later on. Bye, chat. Yes, see you, folks.
I got to talk to you about that printer, but we'll talk.
We'll talk. Yeah, drop me a DM.
All right.
Adios.
Later. So, ladies and gentlemen, that, believe it or not, is Sika Mechanico joining us for the show. Absolutely amazing. We appreciate you for being here. That was awesome. I've been wanting that man on this show for some time now. So thanks to him. Thanks to the whole team over there on XboxEra, sir. Real quick, and I'm gonna fix my screen here. I know where we have to correct it. You guys may have seen that I've been putting the stuff that we're giving away. We're putting it into these here onto these here screens. We promised that we would let you know when we are doing that, and I'm doing that right now. So while we continue to talk, I will I'll post it in here and we'll continue. But Everborn, I guess I'll ask you the same question. I hit you with that same question. Why don't you tell us, in the next 10 years, where do you see Xbox, sir?
Okay. So, firstly, I see a full transition to PC.
Okay. So they leave the console,
No.
the console hardware
No,
or console business
I
behind?
don't know that in 10 years.
Okay.
Like if the console market is still a thing,
Mm-hmm.
I think they're gonna sell you a box, right? That's like, but it will be a PC in disguise.
Okay. Yeah. So the UI will
Right?
still be Xbox console like you know it, but in the background it'll be PC bits, binaries instead of console binaries. Okay.
And they'll have one that they'll sell you because, like the Steam Deck, it will be a hardware that all the developers know and they can profile for.
Okay.
But anyone else can build a PC. I've talked about this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So, as opposed to saying it transitions into a PC, Xbox transitions into an OS.
Okay.
One OS to
rule them all.
Rule them all. Right. So this is where I think they're going, and that OS will be what they run across handhelds, whether you make it or not, whether it's the device they sell you to run under your TV, whether it's the device you build to run in on or dual boot it with your computer, or however they handle that. That's I think where they will be in 10 years, and we'll see what happens in cloud, because I'm thinking this OS will also be well, it'll also be what you run in the cloud. So when you spin up your Xbox app, just like the Windows app, which is something I wanted to talk about in our tech block. So what's tech this week?
Yeah.
They're turning Windows into an app. So
they have.
You just launch the
app.
You
can literally launch it on Android.
You need an enterprise account now.
First. Yes.
So,
yes. But you can basically launch an app, and inside the app you have Windows, exactly like what they've been doing with the games in Backcompat. Now they're doing it with the OS itself.
Right. So who's to say they can't do that with the Xbox OS, and that's how you run your game?
100%. Could you imagine them launching it in an iPad, and then it connects to all your controllers through Bluetooth, and inside that iPad, within the operating system, within the OS,
do you one better. I'll do you one better.
Xbox.
An Apple TV app.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
So again, I think that's what it becomes. So it's one thing. It will take some figuring out to get there, but 10 years, I think that's where they'll be, and that OS is what will allow them to be on mobile, in the cloud, on PC, one unified thing. Now, 10 years from now, provided the regulatory climate changes, I hope you're ready with these tomatoes, Lucius Augustus.
Oh boy.
Provided the regulatory environment changes, do they tap old Gabens on the shoulder and say, you ride off into the shoulder and into the sunset, and we'll take the dream forward? Could you imagine that hellscape?
Where they buy Steam?
Yeah.
That must be a completely different regulatory environment that doesn't even remember what happened during Lena Khan's tenure. That's the only place I can see that will ever be possible.
I don't think anyone is gonna I don't know who else is gonna want to embarrass themselves by going after video games like that for a while, right? But see, you can make whatever you want out of it.
See, I hear you, but don't you think the same can be said for the video game purchasers themselves? So much has happened on both sides that they both could be very gun shy at this point, right? Both the regulatory bodies don't want to go through the rigmarole of getting screwed in public the way they did, right? And embarrassed left and right, showing them for fools and all of this. And also most game ecosystems, Microsoft included, might not want all of the smoke they got for the year and a half they got it, right? So it may cause both parties to kind of cool it for a while before we ever see this jump start again. What are your thoughts?
Listen, all I'm saying is the same regulatory environment that allowed Exxon to merge with mobile.
Yeah, no.
Right?
No.
You need something like that to happen again.
Yep.
But again, it's something I don't expect, and I actually don't think it would be good for Microsoft to be in control of all gaming like that, because you feel like all gaming is going to move towards PC and mobile anyway. That's a little crazy. I think it's better if they can actually give some competition to Valve. Hopefully they can do that from Battle.net. That's another thing. I think Battle.net becomes their foundation in their game store.
We hope. We don't think that. We hope, because it's a way better service. It's a way better.
No. I mean, they've already said that in like leaked slides, right? Like they said, the it starts with Battle.net. That's their plan for ABK, right? So that is what they could do. I just think they need to move away from the Windows Store.
It's got enough poison in there. They can't fix it at this point. It definitely just needs to be retired in favor of. Yes.
And they have enough content just through people wanting to publish on Xbox to where they could have a viable store that could be more viable than Epic Game Store, right? So that is the thing. But I don't put it past them should the regulatory environment allow it to go after it. I'd prefer that they built out Battle.net and have that be a store. But that's also not easy. I do want to say something about that.
Question. Hold on. Interesting little nugget of a question added by Pixelbit G, and that's a good tech question. People hate the scourge that is UWP, because it came and it went, but a lot of their games are currently, to this day, I tried to play Quantum Break on PC not too long ago. I think it was a day or two ago. They're not repackaging all of those systems. A lot of those older games have UWP. So wherever they go, much like Backcompat, unless they're planning on repackaging everything, which would be kind of a pain in the butt and costly, whatever they use will also have to be compatible with running UWP apps. So the question becomes, does Battle.net support UWP, and what much of an uplift will it take to make it support UWP? Because if it doesn't,
get that out of here.
If it doesn't, you're breaking Backcompat. So unlike Steam, where every game you own just works in perpetuity since whenever, if they break UWP access, half of your games you purchased a few gens ago will no longer work on Battle.net.
I think they need to break it, and you can go back to the Windows Store to get that.
That's a problem, sir. That's a very good point.
Don't infect Battle.net with UWP. I don't.
But you see, that's a problem, right? That's the same reason why
that's a problem for them to figure.
That's the same problem that came up when EA and Ubisoft wanted to bring their games into Steam, right? But and shout out to John Wolf, he complains to me about this all the time. They brought it, but because they're packaged as other launcher games, when you buy it on Steam, it still has to launch their launcher before the game starts, right? So it becomes a whole different thing. It's kind of crazy. So it is something that they have to contend with, to be honest with you. It's weird, but yeah, how will they contend with that? Otherwise, imagine a world where you now have the Battle.net store. It has everything you need, but you can't play Quantum Break because it's a UWP app. That kind of sucks. You know what I'm saying?
So, someone says, does Battle.net need to exist, right?
Oh, heck yeah.
It does. Yes, it does, because it's a million times better than the
and it's the interface that people who've been paying for WoW for eons now are used to and use.
Here's one issue with that, though. Activision is not selling thousands of pieces of content in that store, so it's fast and it works well and it surfaces content in its current good ways, because there are like 5 or 10 games in there.
Yep.
Right. whatever Activision has to offer.
Yep.
Right? That becomes very different when you have a game store that has thousands of titles. That's when things can get muddled. So that's something that they would have to figure out, and that takes a lot of work. And they have not figured that out in the Xbox app or the Windows Store app.
It's what has plagued them forever. It's the reason why you don't have your Blades interface that you love so much from the past. They basically came out and said they would love to bring some of those back, but when they introduced those paradigms, they had far less in their library, and having so much in the library now makes those old paradigms unfeasible. Like, it just can't be done. So yeah, you do have a point there. You definitely have a point there. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, the stuff you see on your screen, for those who have not been here at the beginning of the show, those are 4 of the 5 octets for 3 months of free Game Pass, ladies and gentlemen. I got the Game Pass deal. I wasn't able to use my code, so I'm sharing the code with you. That is 4 of the 5 octets. The last 4 will be dropped before the end of the show. I want everyone to have a chance to win it. So there's the 4 of the 5. They're on the screen. Write them down. I will announce the last 4 before we go, and then whoever wins it, hit me up on Twitter, hit me up in the DMs. Let me know you won it. It'd be cool. But yes, Everborn Saga, I hear your point, but you're trying to, so are you telling me that if we live in a world where BattleNet leads and Xbox has been depreciated, what will they do? They'd put that BattleNet host on consoles and cloud and on various phones so that you can access it, then that would be their jump. That would be the app per se for, let's say, their mobile interface. Is that what you're seeing?
No.
Okay.
I think BattleNet will be their Steam competitor.
Okay. Interesting. All right. So they would load it up with a bunch of games and let that be where people access all their games from.
And that's where they'll publish their own first-party games and things like that.
Okay. I can see that. Now, have you used BattleNet?
Yeah, I have to when I play Diablo 4 on the ROG Ally, I have to launch it.
Okay. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. So you do know, I know that it does the audio and the communicating with your multiplayer teams much better than, say, all the other PC solutions. So, I do hear you, though, on the idea that the more you throw at it, the potential issues that could arise. So I will be interested to see how they thread that needle. Will this become like all the other faulty stores when they start adding their content to it? Because that's a factor in the equation, no?
Come again? What's a factor?
The fact that, like you were describing before, it's easy to talk about how great it is now because it doesn't have that many offerings, right? The minute you throw all those offerings in, does it buckle under the weight?
For it to get cluttered. I mean, they're gonna have to figure that out, but I think that being the front end it's a clean start. Like, the Windows Store has a certain stink on it right now, where people would just prefer to be in Steam, and I think you need a new launcher to potentially get people back. And BattleNet is already very, very popular, so that's a great starting base. And then if you add Xbox content to it first, and then third-party stuff over time, I think you can build out something special.
I agree. Okay, well, I think we're rounding the bottom of our episode, sir. Any other side effects you want to regale me with? Because I think this kind of buttoned it up quite well for me. If not, I'll drop the last code and we'll call it. What do you think?
Do you want to hear about my 3 a.m. release call last night? Started at 5 p.m., ran till 3 a.m.
Sure. Go ahead. Tell me.
All right. So I had a Phil Spencer moment. Phil Spencer Redfall moment.
Oh God. Oh no.
Right? So I'll try to be quick about this.
Okay.
But basically, we just had to run a basic script that was gonna do a sync with the database table, because we have an API that when someone makes an update, it makes entries into this Oracle table or whatever. right? So I give it to one of my trusted guys and I say, all right, they're going to give us a dump. You write a little Java program that's going to turn that CSV dump they give you into a SQL script, and you're just going to run an insert update, if else, you know what I'm saying? If the user ID exists, update. If it doesn't, do an insert. Simple, easy peasy, right? So they're handling it. They get a list from QA. They run their Java program. It creates the script. They do the thing. QA tests it, signs off on it. We get to the day of the release. We need to get this dump as close as possible to when we're going to do it, so we don't miss any changes. That way, anything we do miss, it's a financial application, so most people stop using it at the end of the business day. So you do something after 5, whatever. So we get our list. Cool. Run it through the Java program. Create the script. I, having trusted QA, having trusted the guy I gave this to write a simple insert update. First mistake. I'm the team lead. I should have. Doesn't matter. I got a million things going on. Other projects I got to oversee. I should have done a code review for the most simple thing. But they said they got it and QA signed off on it. There is no inserts.
Oh God.
The script that he wrote, the Java code that he wrote, only handles the updates. So I say, hey, what am I looking at here? We got 5,000 items in this dump. I only see updates. What about the inserts? My guy says that's going to be a problem. So now we're at the release, and I'm like, okay, you need to update this thing so we can write this script or whatever. So now we're writing the script, and I gotta go help him write that script, right? To go do that, right? Which again is not what I needed to be doing on a Friday night, right? And simple SQL queries, but whatever. So doing that, and then we notice that the dump that they sent us at 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock, whenever they sent it, it didn't have the client IDs. And you needed this value because that's the whole update that you would make, right? So we had to go back to the people who gave us the dump at 8:30 at night and say, hey, this doesn't have one of the fields. And then I find out it never had the field, and no one checked that.
And let me guess, you have to fall on your sword for it. Basically, ladies and gentlemen, Everborn Saga had a scale.
I got to go on kind of funny on Monday.
He had a scale and
deal with my manager. Right?
And nobody wants to hear the guy who didn't do the thing. Nope.
No. I gotta go and say I have full confidence in the team, and this is on me, and I should have checked it. And so now we're writing this thing, and we're doing it, and suffice to say, everything that can go wrong does go wrong, and we run it. We make sure it works in dev, and then I'm like, okay, because when you build a DML, right? You build a DML, you package it up in a zip file, they run their pipeline, it calls the master file, which points to your DML script or whatever. So we run a few lines of the generated script, and and it works. So I'm like, okay, build it. And then I ask him, like, did you run this in dev? He says yes. But what he meant was the lines that he ran in front of me on the screen share, not run the whole thing. Goddamn full script. So now it's midnight and it's having problems.
And he's running things in prod that he didn't test in dev. Holy Okay. All right. That is amazing. All the corporate slaves in the chat are like, holy crap. Yes, we see you. Because we all know exactly what that means. Oh man. That's messed up, bro.
So
oh wow.
This is like,
see, this is what happens when you entrust others to tell the narrative, to spell your narrative for you.
And again,
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't get a hold of anybody because now we're after midnight and we're just trying to fix the thing. So I gotta call it at like 3 a.m. and say, this is it. Send out the email, tag my manager, tag the boss.
Evan Born Saga about to perform seppuku right there in front of everybody. Oh boy.
I am not gonna have a great Monday.
Yep. Yep, absolutely.
So that all because I thought someone could handle a basic insert and update script, and I thought QA would have actually tested anything, but you can't think those things. So
this is what happens. I won't regale you with the stories of me being the infrastructure architect for a project that was started 2 years ago. I get added later, and then at the end of the project, which I helped them through networking and all of that, they find out that the storage they had provisioned 2 years ago before I got there, yeah, they have applications that grew beyond that. But I'm the infrastructure architect now, so why didn't you see that? Same thing, but we move forward. Corporate America, they literally put you in a position to go, you happy? You cushy? Yeah, good that you're cushy, because now we're gonna beat you like you stole something. And you gotta sit there and take it because you're getting cushy and you're getting paid. It's where we are. Absolutely. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Everborn Saga, we will not hold the people up any much longer, regaling them with corporate slave talk. You see all the lines on in the chat there.
Let me tell you why I told this story.
Please.
Because everybody said, how did Redfall happen?
Oh yeah.
And now I can tell you exactly how Redfall.
Oh yeah. See, my only thing of Redfall that was weird, and we'll get out of here with all that, but my only thing of Redfall, and I get it, it can go through pipeline after pipeline after pipeline and miss the thread. But this was the only game that was coming from your house in a long time. You're telling me you didn't play it beforehand? And I'm talking to you there, Phil. You didn't play it beforehand? It's not like there were millions of other games available. So, or did you play it beforehand and went, okay, I guess we're gonna have to deal with this. Let me get my Darth Phil's suit ready because I'm gonna have to go to Kinda Funny after playing it. Did he know it when this thing come out, or did it hit him like a ton of bricks like everybody else? That's my question. That's my only question, right? It's one thing if you have all these other irons in the fire and you're just playing so many different things and one slips out you didn't get. At that time, there were no many other irons in the fire. This was your only first hit. This was the culmination of the beginning. Oh, it's gonna be great. Did they know it was gonna be crap when it came out, or did that blindside them? Somebody must have played it before it came out. That's the only part where I'm just like, you know, that's my only part. And of course, virtual tomatoes could be thrown at me. I get that, right? I'm just, you know, for a guy who presumably, you know, he's a gamer, plays all these games, and at that time there were no other games coming out. You'd think he would have played it. Look at his Vampire Survivor time. I'm just saying.
Listen. All I'm saying is, if I was micromanaging, I would have, and I guess I should have been.
You would have saved
micromanaging.
This. Yes.
Right. Yes. Right. Because I basically had to do the whole thing like that night. And anyway, but because I was working on several other very high-profile projects, I give the low-hanging fruit to the guy to handle the low-hanging thing. And that's what happens.
The hot button.
While Phil is dealing with the regulators, these things that you expect that people are telling you is good, you can't. It is trust but verify. That is the lesson.
Absolutely. Yep. Well, Mr. Everborn Saga, before we get out of here, tell the fine people where they can find you and buy that Premiere Charge Them More t-shirt, which I'm waiting for the V-neck version before I buy mine.
Listen, answer to all those questions, Everborn Saga, and I think I am going to see if I can beat XboxEra to the punch and maybe make an Xbox texture.
Hey, look at that. We'll take it. Why not? Hell yeah. Let's do it. Absolutely awesome.
I'm gonna talk to an artist right now, see if I can get him to draw something up.
There you go. Absolutely. So all right, and as for me, as you know, you can catch me all those places. We usually communicate through Xbox, your Twitters, all those places. I will also be co-hosting with the aforementioned, the great one, John Clark, Sicka Mechanico from XboxEra. They asked me to. It's weird. They asked me to co-host, and then it just kind of worked out where he came on the show first. So part 2 of our conversation will be had on the XboxEra channel. Promptly in the 3-4 hours so catch us there. It'll be more fun to be talking to them and talking to Jesse and all the folks there. So thank you guys so much for checking us out. The last 3 of the octet, because everybody should have at least up until now, the last 3, Q, C, Z. Again, Q, C, Z. And with that, I say, have a great weekend. We've had an awesome conversation. Expect more great chat from us. Monday night, expect myself and Mr. John Wolf to talk more about GeForce Now, talk about the PlayStation Portal, because he has one and he wants to tell me about it. He's actually standing on, he's holding the line for the Portal, believe it or not. Oh boy. So hear what he has to say on Monday. Of course, you'll see me and
he never bought a Charge Them More shirt.
And he did well.
We gotta look into that.
He needed to save his pennies for the $200 purchase. What are you gonna do? And then of course Wednesday, myself and maybe the Everborn Saga will be on Double Barrel Gaming Primetime Gaming Boom's channel. Catch us there, and of course back again next week here doing it once again for you. Until next week, have fun gaming. Get out there, talk to the community, and stop getting so angry when you don't see your games represented in the Keeleys. Maybe at some point you'll have something else to watch. Until next week, peace.
Nice to be in orbit.